Okay, let's see. Should be in now. All right. Hey everyone. So sorry. The stream was originally scheduled for 11, and then had to bump it to like 2:30 to 3. Yeah, it means went way longer than expected. But we are here now. So it's not really a modeling editor. I'll actually go over to like the details real quick. So for reference of if anybody's wondering like what I'm doing, and I've been trying to make like a 3D modeling for a little project I've actually like paid for and so forth, and I'm getting tired of like setting up certain things like setting up like the tables, the floors, and so forth. So I'm kind of trying to create a system where I can actually like create meshes, fuse meshes together, create meshes, make it where I can export them so I can pull them into like Blender. So like, let's say for example, this, maybe I want to import like the entire thing as one mesh into Blender and then edit in there, do stuff like that. I mean, there's more to it, but yeah, I got a lot that I want to do, and even like edit like some of the meshes. Picture to you now. Right. And won't you go on? And won't you go on? Nice try. Color real quick. Sorry, my dog was literally the second I started to stream, my dog was like, yeah, let me out. Okay, anyways. But yeah, so that's basically the idea, but we're going to start off small. We're going to start off being able to create like simple shapes, set materials and textures for first part. So like one thing I want to do is like, okay, so you guys seen like for anybody that has done game development with 3D, you know, like sometimes you have like the floor planks and so forth, and like a floor prefab with already like a texture mesh, and instead of like just setting them like one by one like this, I want to make it like the first test I want to do is actually make it where I can create a procedural floor with a texture material with certain lighting and shading techniques. And so much more. Like there's gonna be a lot more, but we're gonna start off simple with this. Now I have played around with this before. For anybody that hasn't seen this, there's this thing called iMesh jobs in Unity. We're actually gonna, I'm opening it up real quick. Okay, well, opening up on the other monitor, but yeah, here we go. So inside of Unity, you can do stuff where you can actually like parallel schedule like mesh generation. And basically how it works is you actually have it where you can actually send in mesh data array. This is actual API built into Unity, and with it you can actually like create like some multi-threaded systems and burst compile systems for like high speed mesh generation even during runtime. So if you want to do like mesh deformation tools or something like that, you can actually do this with good performance. We're probably going to start small. I might end up doing like a modeling editor down the line, but like I want to, this is going to be my first actual stream of where I'm like actually learning how to do it. If anybody's ever seen my video on ocean generation, you've seen that I've had some experience with this before. If anybody's wondering where I first started learning this, there's someone named Cat-like Coding that creates some tutorials. That's actually where I first started learning how to do this, but now I want to actually create actual like stuff that I can use in real like production. So yeah, let's actually begin. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go here and I'm going to actually start creating a custom editor. And because like I know like this is going to be just a lot of actual like custom editor tooling and stuff. So for now I'm going to just do a inspector editor just so I can actually like a custom inspector basically just so I can actually quickly like start testing out logic and so forth, and I can also show like what I already have and stuff like that. While Unity's like actual like compiling, I can actually go over like some of the stuff I already have test out. So basically I have a class called Procedural Mesh, and basically I get a mesh filter from it, and I actually generate a mesh by sending in the mesh data array, which is basically a allocatable and writable mesh data. The mesh data array pretty much has like a list, or well, not exactly a list, but like a collection of different data points. that you can actually apply to. I was going to see if I can find, oh, actually, you know, they just keep integer pointers instead. But it basically keeps like an integer mesh data array in the form of integer pointers, and the integer pointers actually point to a mesh data. Inside the mesh data, that's where you actually have like your vertex buffer, your stride data, and stuff like that, and also where you have like the indices for your actual meshes. And basically, you can actually tell, like, you can actually patch the mesh data into like a custom mesh job and so forth. And when you do that, inside your mesh jobs, you can actually start creating a mesh, like actually like changing vertices and stuff. So let's actually go to a example of one of these, just so people have a reference of like example of what can be done. Basically, inside like a grid mesh, you can actually say like the vertex count. And basically, you can set like resolution, which would be like, do you know, this is not the scale of the actual mesh. If I actually go here, let's actually choose our procedural mesh real quick. This is what we're starting off with. If I actually click on it, you'll notice that you can see how many indices and how many vertices it is. If I actually go to my inspector over here, you'll see like there's resolution. I'm going to actually change this to 14 real quick. And if you notice, before I actually update the mesh, there's 81 vertices. Now since I changed value and tell it to update, I'm going to actually go back up here, and now you'll notice that it went from 81 to 225. Well, it doesn't look like anything changed. Well, actually, it's this that changes. So if I actually change this now, you'll notice that the mesh wireframe, like I said, you can see this a lot better in mesh wireframe mode. I'm going to change the resolution, and you'll notice that the resolution is actually the how high of a vertices count per like unit inside the mesh, so like 1 by 1. This way you can actually create a mesh that has like more vertices in like the for like details. One good example of why you might want to do that is ocean generation. Like if you need a mesh that actually can do like the ocean waves and stuff, you might need a little bit higher like resolution to be able to get like those fine details in like ocean water. So you might want to like increase the resolution. So that's what this is. It's basically increasing how many vertices is per scale in unit 1, not the actual like scale of a mesh. And then you have your index count, your job length, and the job length is actually just the resolution plus 1. But yeah, and then you can see we have like our actual like execute method. This is actually where like you can actually generate your mesh, and this is where we're going to be having fun. This is what today's stream is about. For reference, to create like a actual just like a square grid like I'm doing, you actually just take the resolution plus 1 and you times you get like the times z, and the z being passed in is basically like the index of the mesh. And to calculate for a square how many triangles you need, because if we actually go into Unity real quick, you'll notice that obviously it's triangles. You can actually figure out how many triangle indexes you need by just saying the resolution times 2 times the index of the plane minus 1, and then you just calculate the y for normals and the tangent. And the reason why you want to do this is so lighting and shadow works. I know that's like a really rough outline, but you guys get the idea. That's basically like the start of it. And now let's actually start doing stuff with it. So first I want to actually make an editor, because like right clicking and then just saying generate from mesh is kind of annoying. So let's actually write a quick editor real quick. That way it's a little bit more useful. And also I have a ability system. I know that's random, but I've been working on an ability system as well. I can actually show off the ability system down the line. But let's actually do that in a little bit. For now, let's actually do this, because I want to make it where I could just click a button and automatically regenerate the mesh instead of having to like right click and so forth. So let's do this. SF editor. Editor, yeah, there we go. Using, and basically I'm gonna just say custom editor, and just say type of procedural mesh. This way we can actually start making stuff. You know, like I prefer to use only UI toolkit, so I won't be doing any MGUI stuff. So I'm going to say, oh yeah, we can also create a preview as well. We might actually do create preview, and the reason why is that way we can actually see the generated mesh inside like the actual inspector preview. So you can actually make a preview like at the bottom of like your game objects inside the inspector, and you can actually see stuff. Like a fun fact, if I actually go to like any type of animation, let's do metal sword and sword. Let's see if I can find one of them. Yeah, so like for certain actual like animation stuff, there we go, found it. You'll notice that there's actually a drag up and down thing for animations. That's actually what this preview is. So like if I say like override and I say create preview, an example of like a custom preview is Unity actually adding like a little like thing that allows you to actually see the animation inside of Unity. It's like inspector itself. So we'll probably be creating custom preview to also see like the actual mesh. But yeah, so we got a lot of things. We got a lot of stuff we got to work on. First stream is basically figuring out like how to do stuff, and also doing some more research on different mesh shapes, because there's a lot of different math formulas for it. So first thing I want to do, I want to actually have a actual like a way to generate mesh from like a button. So I'm going to actually say on generate mesh from on clicked, or sorry, clicked. Let's actually do this. We're also going to say root real quick. And I'm going to actually use what is called a default inspector element, and we're going to actually use that. I'm going to say default inspector element. Gotta just real quick using Unity header.ui. And actually inspector element dot and it should be like a default, right? Fill default inspector. Oh, that's close. Not really, but yeah. So I can actually do that, and I can pass in the serialized object that we're actually targeting for the editor, and then I can just say this. And basically this will like automatically generate the default inspector, and then after that I can actually start adding new stuff on top of it. So like for example, I could add a button. So I can say new button here, and I could say we can do so let's say on generate mesh clicked, and I can say text equals generate mesh. Thing do. And now we will have like a actual like button added to the inspector, and we can actually add whatever we want to the inspector. And then here I can actually go and I can do this. I'm going to actually say private procedural mesh. I'm going to say procedural mesh here. And when creating the inspector, I want to say target as a procedural mesh. For anybody that hasn't done like editor coding, whenever you create a custom editor, the target is actually like a general target that whatever your type of is. But even though it's already your type of, you have to actually cast it. So I have to say target as a procedural mesh to actually get back the mesh that we're actually inspecting inside the inspector. But now I can actually do this. I can actually start saying we actually need to make a couple of these public. So now I can say public, and I could say generate mesh, or sorry, procedural.generate mesh, and we should be good to go. And what I can also do is we have this little mesh here. At the current moment, it's actually private. I'm actually going to make it public, and I'm actually going to set it to hide inside the inspector. I do want it to be serialized. I just don't want it showing inside the inspector because it's going to be appearing inside the mesh filter. I want like it to be easier to figure out like, hey, this is actually inside the mesh filter. So now I can actually go here and I can say procedural. Procedural mesh, and I can actually say mesh equals new mesh, and we can actually, yeah, I'll just copy this honestly. And now what it'll do is, now I should have it where I should have a button inside the inspector that actually generates the initial mesh for me, and so forth. I can also say procedural.mesh and then do this. And I can just pass in, yeah, I can actually just like pass in mesh real quick. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say mesh filter real quick. And I'm going to actually get this. I'll actually get this up here. I know it sounds weird inside of the thing, but let's say this equal null. Oh, actually, no, wait, I can't do this up here. Actually, should do it down here for a couple of different reasons. Oh, no, wait, no, I was right. I just forgot to take this off. There we go. And now I can basically go down here. And I do have a reason for wanting to actually set it up there whenever I first show the inspector. I can do this. I can just say mesh filter dot mesh equals. Actually, I might want to keep a reference to the mesh as well, like just temporarily inside the inspector generated mesh. And the reason why is because, like I said, I want to make it where I can actually like hit an export button and actually create an asset like an FBX file or OBGA file and actually send it to like Blender. I might want to keep that in memory. So what I'll do is I'll say generated mesh equals that, and I can just say mesh filter equals or dot mesh equals that. And I can also, yeah, I'll just, sorry, I'm going to put that there. Okay, since I set the procedural mesh up here, I should never reach this point down here, like without procedural mesh being set. So I'm not going to worry about like doing a null check for now, but yeah, that should be good. Okay, so now I can actually do that. I can get rid of this. And now in my custom editor, I will have access to not only the procedural mesh, but also the generated mesh and the mesh filter that I'm actually shoving it into. Now, if everything went correctly, I should be able to just go into Unity editor, and I should actually have, oh, I need to hit save on here real quick. I forgot. I saved the left script, but not the right one. Name generate. What? Procedural mesh error, the name. Oh, I forgot to I forgot to do this. I forgot to remove context thing. That's how I was originally doing it. Instead of like actually having a custom editor, I actually was just having to right click on it. Okay, so redo that. Yay, now we got ourselves a little generate mesh button. All right, cool. Now, what we also need to do is we have a little thing here called that allows me to change like the shape and stuff. At the current moment, I'm having to actually manually click the generate button after changing the value. Let's actually fix that too, because if I change that value, I don't want to have to like click the button every single time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add a couple things. For forget though, I need to set root.register callback, and we actually need to say attach to panel event on wow, on panel attached to, or on, oh wow, I keep forgetting. I don't know why, but I always done that where I did panel attach instead of panel to attach, and it never fails to like fail. Like I always end up doing that. All right, so the reason why we want to have like a on panel event is because I want to make it where all the visual elements are actually already generated inside the inspector. That way I could do something like this. I could say, oh yeah, we're gonna actually need to have a reference to the visual element that's acting as our root. And the reason why is so I can actually do something to it inside of the inspector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say root. And I'm going to actually say root equals that. And we're going to just have to like, I'm going to just actually, yep. Oh, darn. I wasn't sure JetBrains actually would has a like refactor local variable, but it does not support it. But yeah. I can now say, I don't have to worry about this ever being like null because, I mean, for the event or the on attached panel to even run, this has to be already assigned. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say Q, and we're actually going to get this mesh type right here. So you see the square grid. We're actually going to grab that. There's a couple different ways I could do that. For anybody that hasn't like had to deal with like Unity's brilliant naming for like creating like a serialized property fields, here's a fun one for you. So whenever Unity creates like a property field, they literally default so this is actually the name of the field you gotta grab, property field colon, and then the actual name of the variable. So literally I can go I could say pop-up field. Don't actually remember if it's actually has like actual like type, or if I can just use like a generic type. It should be actually, no, I think they actually make it where pop-up field is the same as like your actual like enum, right? Yeah, that's, I think I need to do mesh type. And then I can do this. Now I can actually say name, and I could do this is so bad. This is always fun for obvious reasons. I could do name of, and the reason why I'm doing it a certain way is because that way if like anything ever, like if I ever rename the variable in code, it will automatically update this and I won't have to redo it. So name of, I can just say property field, or property field, and then literally just put colon and then name of, and I could do like a procedural mesh dot oh, it only, that's right, it actually only works on, I just realized it only actually works on actually it might be, yeah, okay, so I can't actually do name up because I have this as private. Actually, I might actually need this as public anyways, so I'm actually gonna, yeah, actually I do need this as public. I was trying to serialize this list, as little stuff as I can, but oh well, I'm gonna just say mesh type, and yeah, it's gonna basically be like, hey, it conflicts with this up here, and all I'm gonna do is actually say mesh types. Normally I name my enums that anyways, but yeah, don't add. Oh, yep, fix that, and then love how like even with unit, and now I should work. There we go. And this way, if I ever have to rename this or anything, it will automatically update the editor for me. I don't have to tweak the code or anything. Like I wouldn't have to like update the code at all. And we can literally just say var pop-up, or let's say mesh type pop-up. And basically we can say like if mesh type pop-up does not equal null, just in case like for some reason like Unity did not actually generate or like couldn't find the button or anything. I'm gonna say mesh type dot register value change callback, and all I got to do is basically say on mesh type change, and I am making like smaller like methods instead of like doing like the a lot of people probably do like something like this. I know this is like a common practice where they'll basically do like EVT and then they'll do like an anonymous function and then so forth, and they'll just actually do something with it. I don't do stuff like that because you can create what are called like closures, and it actually causes basically, oh wait, yeah, I forgot, this is actually a visual element. I could just use null propagation. It basically causes like some stale memory, and if anybody's seen my channel, you guys know that I hate bugs like that. There's a reason why I hate stale memory. I've literally have run into so many instances where either me or like a coworker or studio I was working at, I got a headache from like figuring out why is this not working. But anyways, I can say now, also I should make sure like, actually no, this should never be null. Oh, actually, you know what? This can actually be null. Sure, I should actually, so fun fact, this actually can be null, even though I said it whenever the inspector happens. Depending on certain stages of like the editor, it can actually run certain event changes during like certain code reloads, or whenever you're like closing like editor like tabs. It's only certain cases, but if I don't check, it could cause error, and I mean it only takes like 2 seconds to check. And I'm also gonna just do that up here where equals null. I'm gonna just say return. Also, I meant to say does not equal null. Or, sorry, I meant to say return here. Reason why I'm doing return instead of just saying does not equal null and then doing this, I plan to do more stuff whenever this value changes. And actually, I can actually do this right now. What I could do is I could actually just, whenever the value changes, actually, I can actually do this. Yeah, I can actually do this instead. Yeah, it might actually be better if I just called this. Now, since I think about it, yeah, let me just call this. I know like there's a return here, and then like I'm instantly doing another return. But since I can call this method like directly, it's better just for like editor safety. Okay, so with that done, it should make it where whenever I change the type of mesh we want to procedurally create now, it should automatically like update, regenerate. So let's check this out. Okay, so share triangle. Sadness, no. Oh wait, did I run into that one bug? 1 second. Let me actually check this out. No. Oh, I need to get rid of that serialize. We don't need that actually. Let's actually, let's make sure that I actually got the correct name of that property field real quick. That's probably why. So I'm going to actually attach the editor because it looks like the on attached to panel did not actually like go. So let's test this out real quick. It might be because this like I might have to change this value. It might not be finding like a pop-up field of that type. I might have to do the generic version of the pop-up. All right, so is it finding it? No, it's not. Okay, yeah, I was right. So I just need to let's see if it oh, you are required. Okay, there is no generic pop-up field. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Well, here I can just do this then. I could say base pop-up field, and it still requires a value. Crap. All right. So let's make sure I'm actually okay. Let's make sure I actually get the name of this. Like whenever you're doing like custom vendors and stuff, it's so fun. It might actually be better if I actually just get the. Oh wait, no, I said pop-up field. I meant property field. Whoops. Yeah, that's my bad. And there's actually a different event type for that. It's actually, yeah, there's actually a special, like there's one called like a serialized property event. So I need to do serialized property event instead. All right, and I'm pretty sure since this is I can't actually do null coefficient. Yeah, on property fields you can't actually do that. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, man, that looks right, but no. Instead of pop up, I need a property field. Well, at least it was a simple fix. I hope. But yeah. If anybody has any questions or like wants me to try out any like shapes or stuff once I get this done, because at the current moment it's literally like just getting the start of setup. All right, so let's go for here. Did it find it that time? Yeah, there we go. It found it that time. All right, and just in case, I'm gonna actually get that. And there we go. If you notice, like when the like script first ran, or whenever it ends, if anybody doesn't know, like the register value change callback on serialized property change events, the second you register it, Unity automatically calls it. So, yay, it works. Okay, cool. So now, instead of like having to actually like right click and everything, I now have like a custom thing. So I can either generate the mesh by clicking a button, or it'll automatically update whenever I change the mesh type. I'm not going to make it automatically update whenever I change the resolution because there's other settings that I want to add, and I don't want to like it to regenerate like whenever I'm changing like 4 or 5 settings. But the mesh type though, because it completely changes the shape, I do want to like actually update it, or like have it like automatically update for a couple of reasons. But yeah, all right, so let's do this now. Let's actually make it where we can do different things. So we got our plane. Let's actually make it where we can now set different materials and stuff. So here's the thing. I could either set the material here inside a procedural mesh, or I could whenever I add a procedural mesh script, I made it where it requires a I made it actually require a mesh filter and a mesh renderer. So I might be able to just not have to worry about like adding the ability to add a mesh. I could just have it where you just have to set this here. The only thing about that though is if I want to export that mesh, actually no, if I wanted to export that mesh, you know what, let's test this out. Let's test this out. Let's actually see, let's export this into Blender. This is gonna be weird. You know, I know that's a random jump, but yeah, let's do this. Oh yeah, I forgot I even added like comment summaries for like the resolution triangulation of meshes. But let's actually check this out. Let's do this. We're gonna say add root on create mesh asset, and we're gonna say create mesh asset. So generate mesh will automatically just fill up the filter, but if we want to actually like create a mesh and like export it to Blender, let's actually do that. So this is where like things are actually going to start becoming very new to me. So like with the asset database, you can do a couple things. Like there's ways to like create an asset, and so I can literally say create asset. I could do this. I could say what I could do is actually have like the instead of like a void, I could have it where this actually returns a mesh. Oh no, actually, wait. I don't think I can because I think like buttons won't actually let you. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so never mind. We are gonna just not worry about that. What we'll do then is yeah, actually we can do this. We can generate. Actually, what we should probably do. This is probably the proper way to do this. Right void generate generate mesh. We should actually just do this. This way we can do what I'm talking about. And probably just set this up. This way I can just say like generate mesh here. I will be doing more stuff here, so like these functions may seem very similar, and at the moment they are literally the exact same thing, but I will actually be just doing something different in each one of these down the line. What I'll do is I'll just make it where here I can actually return a mesh, and I could just say, yeah, I'll just actually go in here and return the yeah, mesh dot mesh. The reason why I'm specifically grabbing this one is because this actually no, this should still be the one reference here, but you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and grab this one for sure. All right, so now I can actually just do this. I can say generate mesh. Mesh generated mesh. There's a reason why I'm like sending it here. I did say create asset, and I could add a new settings folder so people can actually like if anybody wants to play with this, they can like set their own like defaulting. Fun fact about Unity, there's API that allows you to add your own like stuff to the actual like project settings. So I could actually add like a SF and then like SF tool settings at the top here. And reason why I bring that up, I could actually have it where people could set like a default location or so forth. Actually, doesn't Unity have a way to create or get like the current folder as a database? As a database on current folder. Get, let's see this. Okay, There. Swear there was like asset database. It may be under. Oh yeah, actually, it might be under. But we're gonna check this out. So this is one of those things about this stream is like when I'm doing a self-learning stream, you guys get to learn with me. So I'm gonna actually see about folder directory. Let's see if there's thing. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. Wait a second. No, there's a simple way to this. Thought about it. So, what about add it? Is it editor utilities? Selected. Get. Okay, is it editor selection? Okay, I know there's like a selection thing. Might be just here. Yeah, active. Okay, this is actually it. Okay. I wonder, this is gonna be. Does this return a folder? Like, can I actually get like folders with this? I'm actually wondering about that. I think this should be possible. Do. Okay, no. Dang. I swear there's like actual okay, I'm gonna go to the UI, or we're gonna actually go through this because I want to create like a way to export this also. I love how it goes. Let's go to 6.6, specifically 6.6 because there's different API in here for stuff like that. So also I just realized technically actually have notifications actually available. I'm gotta disable that real quick. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Because there is like a selection tool. I think it's under, I swear it's under editor utility. Okay, there's multiple, okay, technically there's multiple selection tools. I know, it's a fun thing. Oh, I could just say, I might just put in like the open folder panel. That way I can actually just like let people choose where do you want to put it. If you actually do this, does this actually automatically like open up the no, okay, so da 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 da. All right, that is actually interesting. I might just actually see set active or register custom registers a handler for custom. Oh, this might actually be what we need because if I want to actually be able to create a tool that actually allows me to do certain things, I need to be able to do this. Maybe. Okay. All right, let me go under editor utility. Oh, yeah, open panel might be my like my current like probably the only thing that would be useful or like might be able to help me out here. Because I don't think there's really anything else. Asset modification, asset database, yeah, and asset database did not have anything that I was looking for. Okay, I'm just gonna look for this for 2 seconds. Do. Wait, what was that? Oh, nope. Yay, sad. Okay, well, oh, you know what? The only thing that I could actually think of now, since I think about it, is does Unity actually have like a? I know Unity has like a certain like path. Let's actually do this. Folder or current folder. Nope. We're gonna do one more search, everyone. Folder list. Nope. Sure. Okay, so they do count. Oh yeah. Oh, I bet if okay, so I was actually right earlier. I just remembered. So you can actually do get like actual like like the context for selection, because I just remembered whenever you are using like the selection tool, like folders have a generated metadata file, and that metadata file is actually considered a actual object. So I think maybe get or let's say current. Oh, let's see, what is this one? Let's say Okay, so I want to see. I just want to see this real quick. I want to see what this actually debug logs, and I'm gonna actually just do this. Da, 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 da. Oh, I just realized if I actually change like the actual like inspector and stuff, uh, it's gonna change it'll see the procedural mesh as what I currently have selected. We're gonna try this. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna just let's just click on the folder here. So I'm gonna have this folder selected. And I'm gonna see. Yep, nope. Selection is okay. Well, that's what I was thinking. It was attempt. Wait, I wonder, is there any way to, there's gotta be something. Selection change. Oh well, whatever. We're gonna just put it in the root folder for now. We're just gonna put it inside the root folder. Private constant string um, asset export path. Yes, and we're gonna just say assets, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna just say assets, and then let's say generated mesh. Now, at the current moment, I'm literally going to just put asset. We will be doing an FBX file in like a couple seconds, but I just want to make sure this is going to do kind of like what I want. So if I actually do, is there actually overload for like type for create asset? Because okay, yeah. So I can actually say generated mesh, and I'll actually we'll do this. We'll actually just do this real quick. I don't think this Unity will like this. We're gonna find out. Because if I can just like generate the actual like mesh and so forth, this might actually be kind of useful. I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work. Yep. Oh, okay. So yeah. So I can just say generated. Yeah. So we will say this. And for now, I do have to say just asset because FBX and .obj files have a couple different formatting things. So, oh, it just works. It just works. Okay. So, so technically, this is literally just a mesh, just literally a mesh data. So here's the thing. Now we got to figure out how do we convert this mesh data into something like if I just try to drag this into Blender, Blender doesn't know what the hell to do with this. Blender could be like, what in the world? And Blender will not have any idea what the heck this is. Like I can just drag this in here and Blender will be like, what? So now we got to actually get into like a FBX or a actual like OBJ file format. Once I get like actual like file exporting, I'll start to actually make something a little bit more fancier than a bloody grid. But I gotta figure this out first. Generate FBX. Let's say Unity. what I could do is I don't know if, wait, does Unity still have this as, actually wait, I think this is no longer like a package in Unity, but like actual like just or like built in. I could be wrong. There used to be a package called FBX. Oh, okay, there is. Yeah. Okay, we got this, guys. We got this. Well, that's opening up. Let's actually see API. Okay, so we actually got this. Model Explorer. Okay, so use Model Explorer class to export game objects to and okay, so yeah, so while Unity is like putting in that package. Okay, so I think we use this. I'm assuming the export model options allows me to actually. Okay, yeah, so I can do like oh, I can embed textures. Thank God. Okay. Export form. I'm assuming FBX and oh no. Okay, binary and ASCII. Not what I was thinking. Oh wait, no. I mean, this is literally the FBX exporter. Why would I expect to be something else? Okay, yeah. So this might actually be what we need. Oh, there's even an LOD exporter option. Ooh, okay, we might be able to do this. Okay, so Unity, you done resolving those packages? That felt like it took a while. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we need. I was gonna see. Actually, wait. What was that namespace? I'm gonna bring this back over here to the other side so I can actually see it. I'm actually gonna bring it to right that way I can still see chat. Here we go. So, like I said, we want to once we actually can know we can. This is possible because I don't want to like create a crap ton of like generation formulas and then like find out I can't do it. Okay, so model exporter. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, model exporter dot export objects. Okay, so we can do this. And then I say, can I just say generate a mesh? Like, is this literally all I might need? This might be all I need. I want to see, what does this do? We're gonna see, does this actually create a mesh that I can like go between Unity and Blender? It's gonna be interesting to see. Okay, so I'm actually gonna destroy the like test asset. I'm gonna actually say, oh, ooh, okay, that's something I gotta think about. So if I actually okay, so yeah, we might actually want to do is there like a mesh dot like copy or like a can I like actually like allocate might be able to just like allocate or no. Oh okay, so no, just be careful and don't delete that. Or don't delete like the mesh as we're using it. Duly noted. I will keep that in mind. All right, so let's see if this works. Okay, so create a mesh. Yeah, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I'm gonna add a check real quick. If mesh equals null, return. Return default. Since we're supposed to be returning a job handle here. All right, so. Oh, YouTube chat was literally frozen for a second, and now it's just like actually showing your messages, Dave, for some reason. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, and so we're also going to say if yeah, so let's actually do this. What we'll do, actually, you know, what we can do is I can actually do this. I could say if mesh is null. So like if we delete the actual like create asset, instead of doing that, we'll just say mesh equals as a fallback for now. Granted, I'll need to do a couple things to prevent that from ever happening, but for now, the fallback's okay. All right, so now if I actually do this, my voice. Let's try this again. Nothing to export. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, because like well, actually, so this might actually be what I need. Okay, so instead of doing that, we actually do need to pass back the generate mesh just in case of situations like that. Okay. Where do let's actually test this out. All right, so here's and this is why I'm a firm believer of IDE debuggers. So let's oh, you know what? Let me actually okay. So we got a mesh. Oh, the mesh filter. Oh, that's a interesting thing that happens. Okay. Oh, wow. I never thought about that. Okay. So that's why. Okay, it's not the mesh that's causing the problems. Okay, so remember I said like there should be a time where like the mesh filter is actually like not like being set, and yeah, well, this is apparently that case. So what I think is oh my god, I'm stupid. It's nothing related to any of this. It's nothing related to anything of this. So what I forgot to do was clean up my my event calls. So what's happening is this value call, like this, where is it? It's actually, I drag this up here. What's happening is, because I forgot to accidentally like clean up this one specific mesh call here, or like a register value change back on mesh type change callback. This is actually, never being unregistered. So what's happening is, whenever the inspector is first like being loaded, this is actually being called since the previous time I clicked the mesh, it was like registered. And then whenever I like go to a different inspector and then come back to this inspector, before any of this is actually called, this event is being called again. Whoops. Okay, so what I need to do, that actually simplifies a lot of things. I need a property field. Now I'm gonna just say mesh type field, and I'm gonna actually say mesh type field, and you can't actually you can. Okay, cool. I'm gonna say register value callback or unregister callback. I'm gonna just remove all callbacks instead of just one. That way this is not being bloody called. And I also need to do this. I need to also unregister like these callbacks as well down here for the root. So I gotta say like root dot unregister all callbacks as well. Yep. I hope that's it. That is definitely an issue that could happen. All right, so okay, yeah. So I'm gonna actually. Oh, hi, no, it's a Unity bug. Oh no, I ran into that. Unity is about to crash, and actually, okay, so this is not actually me. I did not fuck up. I mean, I did forget to unregister those callbacks. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to show you guys this. This is actually a Unity bug that actually was reported literally 3 days ago, and I can actually prove that in a second. So let's actually go here. You see where it says like ability ID is like 0? Okay, so it says sword shockwave. Okay, let's go click on the sword shockwave ability real quick. Okay. Oh man, as you see, like nothing's changing, right? Yeah, notice how the inspector just broke. Okay, so that is actually full on a known Unity bug. I was about to go insane. I was like, okay, that should have 100% fixed the issue. And I can actually show you guys like how this like. I love breaking Unity. Do note, I think this is only in Unity 6.6. Basically, what the bug is, when you go from one inspector to another inspector, it's not registering certain like callbacks on inspector attachment. And I can actually show you like that. Yeah, so now if you saw, now since I actually reloaded Unity, there's not just the ID thing here. So it is actually related. And you'll notice that, so if I click these buttons, so I'm clicking them, yeah. So watch what, sometimes whenever you click them, if I actually hit save, like if I actually do a code reload real quick, so I'm actually gonna just randomly minus the line, right? Unity's gonna do code reload to show this, yeah, to show like I'm actually not going insane. This is actually a Unity bug. So now, sometimes depending on, notice that Unity just added a null value to the freaking list. So, okay, so this is actually just a known inspector bug. Now, if I click off of it and then come back to this, oh, now it works. Yeah, so that's already been reported to Unity. So I literally have been failing for like 10 minutes because of a bug. Yeah, to do can't be called when an event is being dispatched to the element. Yep. So this actually cannot be called whenever like to do specifically the root one. Or it should be the root one that I can't call. Yeah. So I had to literally just say unregister the on attach panel, and I don't even have to let's actually wait. Let's grab attach to panel. Oh. Attach to panel. There we go. So we just do that, and that should get around like a lot of the fun issues. God, I feel like most of my time here has been like on editor tooling and not like other stuff. I want to get to my freaking procedural editor or generation. Okay, nothing to export. So what the heck? Okay, it's still saying model. Okay, export object. Oh, I wonder. Does it have to actually have the actual asset first? So let's say I create the asset, and let's say I say generate a mesh, and then I say asset export path. What if I create the mesh, or like the actual like generated asset, and then I call export object? Okay, so there's might have been two different things, but definitely a stupid annoying Unity inspector bug. Now if I actually go here and do this, sad. Oh, it half worked. All right, let's actually see. Indices 0, vertices 0. Well, that's just rude. All right, so let's go here real quick. Generate mesh, new mesh equals blah blah. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna say this because technically this should be being grabbed on like the oh, whoops. When I moved this up here, I also forgot to do this. Okay, so that one. Okay, so maybe it was a combination of both me bug and a Unity editor bug. Two different bugs. One was by me. I forgot to do that. All right, now let's see. Nothing to export. So okay, come on. Is it actually okay? Yeah. So generated mesh is still okay. So whenever I wasn't doing it, oh wait, let me actually exit, like leave and go back to the inspector and see if does that. Nope. All right, so we're gonna see there because before I did this, it was actually like generating actual proper mesh from editor. If I actually generate it from inside of the inspector, let's see. Okay, so oh, I wonder mesh component procedural mesh target as procedural. There's a mesh filter, check. It is actually adding to the mesh. If mesh equals null, okay, back, let's say, oh, wait. I wanna see this. So let's say it's schedule parallel. Let's say I want to go down here where we actually got mesh jobs, mesh type. So yeah, instead of like returning here, I want to see something. Yeah, so mesh, if mesh equals null, yeah, mesh should do that. just in case. Oh, ouch. Okay. I'm gonna try something real quick. I want to actually see about doing this real quick after I guarantee there's mesh, because even if mesh is like null before, I'll just generate a mesh. I'm gonna like shove it back into the mesh filter, and we're gonna see that, because yeah, that's okay. That works. All right. Okay. So now if I say a shared square grid, if I go in, if I do like a go to wireframe mode, and if I say like 5 or generate mesh, check. Okay. Now I'm gonna actually delete this one. I'm gonna actually say create mesh. Oh, come on. Generate mesh. So it's actually, okay, so it generates a mesh inside the scene, but not exporting it. Yeah, okay, so it's interesting. All right, so mesh. Okay, so I think what is happening is like there's a run condition, because yeah, let me see. I want to see if maybe I'm just getting into a run condition here. So let's try this. Because like procedural mesh equals null. Mesh filter. Oh, okay. What if we do this instead? So I'm actually calling like a mesh like is null here. So maybe instead of doing that, okay, yeah. So I'm actually not gonna even worry about doing that. I think I see. And what I need to do is actually say generated mesh equals because we can actually just do this instead of like passing in the mesh. I can also say yeah, we can do this. Okay. Because it works in runtime. That's kind of funny. It actually works in runtime, but it doesn't work in editor. Usually it's the opposite. All right, so if I change it, okay, yeah, so it still works. If I change it to a triangle, yeah, it still works there. Now if I actually say create mesh asset, yes, okay, we actually got a actual mesh generated and exported. Okay, so it is saying that nothing to export. Okay, so I'm wondering, mesh does inherit from object. Wait, does the FBX importer only support exporting actual game objects? Is it okay? So I thought the FBX importer exported object, but it might actually be game object. So I might have to create a prefab instead, and maybe that's where I'm having that might actually be it. Is this string file? No, it says object. Exports a single okay, so yeah, okay. I wonder. So like our generated mesh is actually okay. Instead of saying generated mesh, how about I say this? Actually, no, I don't. I shouldn't be. Oh, I should actually be using this now. That's right. I forgot about that. Actually, I don't even need to like actually set that now either, right? Because no matter what, I'm always doing that. Okay. So since I'm actually calling this from like the same script, I don't even need to do that. I could just do this. Okay, that actually probably is where my issue was. We'll find out. Because I'm clearly actually generating a mesh. I mean, obviously. I'd like to point out I just selected the mesh. I didn't even do anything. Love you too, Unity. Mwah. Thank you, Unity. Might have to change Unity versions. I might have to change Unity versions. I'm not gonna lie. That's a oopsies. Okay, I kind of want to see what the logs say on that one. That's a wow. Let's see. Editor previous. Memory crash? What the hell, Unity? Okay, yeah, I might have to change Unity versions. It crashed on a job. It crashed on a memory allocation for a temp job. Like a Unity's like iJob with a temp job allocator. It literally crashed on that. All right. So I guess that guarantee or confirms that it's not a me thing. Let me get to memory settings. Do note, for the love of God, if anybody sees this and you don't know much about these settings, do not touch them. Do not touch them. If you change these settings, there's a chance you could just crash Unity or make it where Unity, like your project doesn't even open unless you like manually go in and change the boot config files. So this is literally like how much you choose. Like when Unity allocates like iJob temps, whenever you're like doing like running like jobs by like reference or by parallel, so like trying multi-thread jobs, actually this is your limit for like your job allocator. This is actually how much Unity will actually allow for a allocation of a block size, and you can have 64 block size. So the crash happened, Unity crashed whenever the actual like mesh went through like the job thing, because Unity went into a default memory fault here whenever scheduling the parallel fault. Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, thanks, Unity. Love you too. All right, so we're gonna see if that's just a thing now that we live with or what. Please don't crash again. Please don't crash again. Okay. Okay, so it actually properly generated the mesh this time. Don't know why. All right, let's actually check this. All right, do know, like I just pulled out the mesh, so there's like no there's no like okay, so it is actually generating a mesh that I can actually drag into other places, but it's not sending it to a actual like EPX file. It's just creating a pure mesh file. So that's going to be something that we deal with. That makes me wonder. Okay, this is going to be interesting if I do it this way. Let's actually do this. I want to check this out. Oh yeah, I should make sure like does this actually get updated? Let me actually check this out. We want to make sure that our generated mesh actually gets updated if it already exists, and not just get created like if it yep, okay, that's what I was worried about. Okay, well that's not that bad. It's basically what we need to do is if asset database dot asset yeah, okay, we can just do this, and well, actually we'll say does not exist. So we'll actually, yeah, if a asset does this, we'll do one thing, and then else we'll actually create the asset. So if no asset exists, create the asset to export to Blender. If access doesn't exist, create it. If it does exist, update the mesh. So let's actually say asset database. We're just going to say get asset. Technically, I could just say like actually just say get asset at path and just see like, hey, is this null? Or get asset. Yes, I forgot. Unity doesn't actually have like a just simple like a did I make a like actual like file helper script with this at one point. I think I did. I don't know if I actually put it inside this project though. I'm actually thinking I did not. Editor, utilities, asset utilities, find asset, directory utilities. Oh yeah, I created a Git logical folder from asset. Yeah. Oh, I could use that earlier. Yeah, so might actually have to do one of these. All right. I know I thought I put it here in somewhere. Okay. That's okay. I probably have it in my other project. I'm not gonna like go dive into it. I was gonna say oh, what if I create an asset, like a straight up FBX file, like manually, and then use add object to asset, and we add the mesh to the prefab, and then I could just say set main object. That might actually just, I can't believe I'm saying this. That might actually be what we end up doing. But I think the issue is right now is it's just actually. Oh, I just thought about this. I think I know why the FBX exporter isn't working. After I create the asset, I kind of need to make the asset, like I need to set the asset as dirty. Yeah, actually, because like whenever you create a scriptable object, you have to actually like, depending on what you're like doing with it, you need to do like a editor utility, and then like set dirty first. Like if you're about to, like if you're going to use it in the exact same thing. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I need a generate asset. You know, we're gonna have to make sure like this generate asset is actually like generated. No, actually, no, we've already backed up that plan. Okay, for now, we're actually gonna not worry about if the asset already exists. I just want to see if this is actually what might be the pain of our existence. It's creating the mesh. Like the math algorithm is creating the mesh multi-threaded, but the problem is it's not being converted from a mesh file to a FBX file. I'm actually going to delete this. I know it's going to be horrifying. No, Unity. Okay. Why? Okay. 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 I see how this is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is this? Da, 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 da. I'm about to murder hobo this thing. Okay, 1 second. Do. Hey. I want to return default. I'm literally gonna just tell the job oh yeah, I mean, okay, so the var selected equals selection thing. Here's the thing: if I have if I'm clicking the button in the inspector, it'll actually have the wrong thing act. Well, actually, okay, I see what you're saying. You're thinking like, okay, what if you actually just export the game object from like the scene? So actually like export this. I mean, that could work. It's just yeah, it actually could technically work as long as I'm not like adding any sub assets and stuff. What I mean by that is like adding any like sub meshes, and well, actually it works for most cases, and I could probably use it for a while. Yeah, it'll work for most cases. I want to make sure this does not break everything. Oh yeah. Let me see if okay, yeah. I just want to make sure like okay, so it's still like it'll fall back to create an internal mesh. But yeah, okay, well, I actually, do I still have the FBX importer information up? All right. I wonder. All right, well. I am gonna check. I'm gonna actually record or integrate. Oh, wait a second. I should have read the known issues and limitations. Does not support exporting exporting any empty mesh filter with null fails export. Oh, okay. So that's actually mesh filter exporting empty mesh. Oh, so instead of exporting the mesh, I have to export the mesh filter. That makes so much more sense. Oh, it says meshes. I'm starting to think that FBX, yeah. Okay, so materials. I was gonna see if I can like go around here and see if there's actually okay. Yeah, okay, so convert a game object to FES prefab variant. There we go. That might nice. But there's no API. It doesn't have any examples of API. Yeah, I am wholly starting to think that it's not like actual like objects, but like, okay, we're gonna try this. I want to try this, guys. This might actually, if this works, I'm gonna be kind of salty. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, yeah, we're actually gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna say game object dot exported object equals new game object. I'm gonna say generated object, and I'm actually going to say create this, and I'm gonna say, instead of like asset, I'm gonna say prefab generated object prefab, or object prefab. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say generated object prefab, and after that, I'm gonna set that as a dirty. Well, I'll need to set this at, like, I'll have to set this as dirty no matter what. I'll set this as dirty, and then what I'm gonna do, make sure I'm exporting or setting that as dirty. At this point, actually, can I actually say, actually, I might say asset database. I just want to see if this actually can work. I want to see if I say generated mesh. It's going to be so stupid if this works. Actually, I probably should, I'm gonna see about like adding a mesh directly, and then I'm gonna see about exporting a actual like FBX file, or sorry, a mesh filter on a game object. I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't even know if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna not do that. We're gonna just wait for a second about like getting that, and we're gonna see about doing this. All right, so what we're gonna do is actually create mesh asset. Nope, should not be used create. Okay, so instead import. Okay. So if I just say fine. Like how Unity's like, no, you can't create a prefab. All right, we'll do this. We'll do this. I want to see like I'm about to just export this game object. No, there's an overlay. There's an overlay for just one object option. It added it to the hierarchy, not the project folder. All right, asset database. That's a good one. Oh yeah. Oh right, the prefab utility. Oh wow, I could. Yeah, I forgot. Create or add. Ooh, okay. Apply it to. Okay. How do I add a I love how there's instantiate prefab for the scene, but not like actually create one for the like actual like asset database. Why? Why Unity? That just makes no sense. Wait, say prefab asset. Oh, save as prefab asset creates a prefab at the. Yes. Okay. All right. We have possibilities now. String. I'm assuming that. All right. Cool. Okay. Cool. Cool. We got it. We got it. This might actually. I don't know if we need to set like this path to be a prefab or not. It might need to just be asset, but we can do this now. Okay. So we do export it. We create the game object. We export the game object, save as prefab, and I think there's like a way to do like a output success. If success, actually I could just say if well no, we might need to do something out of this thing. If success, that's the database. Don't need this. So what we could do is say yeah, okay, so yeah, we don't need to do this anymore because that should do that, but we can still do this. Okay, and I guess we're gonna do we're gonna check this out. I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna find out. I never had to generate an asset. What I'm about to do, I'm not kidding. I'm about to just create an asset like a prefab by hand instead of trying to generate it, or like and actually just set it inside like the inspector. So close! It actually started to work. Okay, it actually created a prefab. Add object failed because the other asset generated is not generated asset object. Generated object is not persistent. Okay, so after we, okay, so that's okay. So what happens is after we actually saved a prefab, does this actually return it? Oh yeah, okay. So instead of this, we're going to say generated prefab. Okay, we're actually super close. We say generated prefab, and then we actually get a, and it actually returns a exported prefab. And then we actually use the exported prefab here, because the generated prefab still goes to the points to the non-persistent thing. And then if this works, we export it to Blender. I hope. I love how it's just like generating this like little stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I'm gonna pray. There's already an asset at oh, okay. Yeah, no, that worked. That actually worked. That actually did work. All right, yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's already yeah. Okay, so it's just because of this. For the love of God, Unity, do not crash. Do not crash. I'm actually gonna disable this, turn that off. We're gonna actually pray. Okay, good. Thank you, Unity, for not crashing. Let's actually change that, and we're gonna say, wait, I don't think I got an error that time. I don't think I actually, yeah, I didn't. It might be because I already, like, there was already asset there, but let's try this. Oh, it works. It didn't add it. Okay, damn it. Oh no, it did add it. Unity was just delayed. Oh my god, it worked. Okay, here we go. Model exporter. Shove that freaking damn thing here. Let's do exporter prefab. Oh, okay. We're gonna just do game object. Exported prefab for now, and we're gonna say equals null for now, and then I'm gonna just say that here, and we can basically just say if generated export prefab or sorry equals null. We're gonna return. I'm just returning here because there are more stuff that I plan to do. I got to do more stuff after this, like apply like embedded textures and stuff like that. Oh. So let Unity do that. Okay. So I'm gonna just delete the skin. Oh, fucking hell! Why? To be clear, this is a known bug. Unity literally already has a fix for it. It literally comes out in 4 days. So that's a known bug. Sorry you guys have to suffer through this. Fun fact, it's a bug that only happens whenever trying to render different how should I say, like either previews and scene or like game objects for like prefab instances. There's a way to get around that like that one specific crash. I just keep forgetting to do it. Exit isolation mode on prefab, so you can edit like prefabs in isolation mode. If you leave isolation mode, it's like here, like the default whenever you open prefab is like, if I actually go to prefab here, you'll notice that well, actually that's not prefab. Let me actually find a prefab to demonstrate this. Yeah, we're gonna just do this. So like you can actually like edit a prefab and you can tell it to open in like context or isolation mode. It's related to stupid isolation mode. It is. I think I ran into 3 known bugs, and all of them are literally in the bug fix notes for next week. I cannot wait until it gets here. Alright, I'm gonna just exit out of all this for my pain and suffering. We're gonna go here, and then we're gonna pray. Yes! Now the question is, does it open in Blender properly? Maybe. Okay, it generated. It did actually go into Blender. Let me try this again. Um. What if I don't validate mesh first? Shit. Okay. It somewhat works. Okay, so wait, I just realized that time I didn't actually like where'd my mesh go? Last time it actually properly generated the actual like mesh. This time it did not. No, you have forsaken me. Okay, so before Crash actually added like the actual asset properly. Oh, I know why. If asset path, da, 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 blah blah blah. What we'll do? Okay, yeah, because asset technically already existed. That's why. Okay, so out of isolation mode this time. Please don't crash now since we're out of isolation mode. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be some stupid little. So, if anybody's wondering, like, why don't I just like tell it to like back out whenever like that happens? So it's actually running into we actually go into like the spiritual parallel. It's actually crashing on inside of Unity's like job utilities like thing, and you know like it is a known like crash and issues. Like do you yeah, like it is a known issue. Like it's if it is if you notice like Unity 6.6 isn't showing up here. It has other versions, but they missed something somehow in 6.6 specifically. So 6.6 is getting a patch next week. But yeah, so it is a known bug. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're seeing. Okay. To be clear, they were trying to update the burst compiler. All these crashes are related to burst compiler. This is another, or sorry, this is another. Did Unity have? Wait, Unity updated their website. What? This is Unity's bug tracker. I just realized it took me a second to realize that their website has been completely updated. Wow, when did they update the issue tracker? Oh my god, that is so much better. Wow, okay, this was not a thing 2 hours ago. Literally 2 hours ago, this was not the same website. Unity actually updated their bug tracker within like the last 2 hours. But yeah, so anyways, entertained by that. But yeah, it is a known bug. 6.6 is sadly the only one that hasn't had the patch for it yet that fixes the crash. Even the even 6.7 Alpha 1 actually has the crash. And do you know, it's literally a crash on like manually editing memory, like memory addresses. So it's not something that most people will run into. It's something that people will literally run into whenever they're like doing stuff like that. But assuming I kind of want to, while Unity is reopening, well, I'm kind of curious. So instead of doing, yeah, burst trunk keyword, yeah. Oh, I ran into that bug literally 2 days ago as well. Yeah, like Unity knows there, like basically there is a mismatch in a burst compiler, not the package burst compiler. Do you know? I mean, there was one crash that did happen in burst compiler, but I'm talking about like the Unity embedded the burst compiler. If you notice, like there's like a no longer a burst compiler package right here. So I have burst in it. You have to go into Unity's built-in module, and like it's hidden inside here. So like the burst compiler this is for like the embedded versions, so like the newer versions of Unity. So if you're just using the burst compiler package, you will not run into most of these crashes. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna bring that up here. I might just, okay, let's see if I can actually just, I'm gonna disable the burst compiler completely. Yeah, I'll just completely disable the burst compiler. And what I'm gonna do is actually like get out of there. I noticed I'm gonna actually go to a different scene real quick, and there's a reason why. Or sorry, not go to a different scene. Actually, yeah, I will go to a different scene. Reason why is that way, like, whenever Unity crashes, it loads up the backup file. If you notice that the tabs I kept closing up here kept reopening, I did that to prevent them from reopening if it crashes again. Reason why is one of them actually has a reference to the thing that keeps crashing, so that might just be continuously causing issues. What I'm going to do is, before I run into this again, I'm going to force this to do something real quick. I'm going to say, actually, no. If it happens one more time, then we'll, like, I'll worry about it. But I want to just see. It only happens inside the editor, which is kind of funny. Okay, there we go. Now we get into this. Oh, okay, yep, there we go. Now it works. Okay, yeah, so just disable burst compiler, and it just works. Okay, now if I'm going to drag this into Blender real quick. Okay, it's missing some of the indices data. Yeah, so it's actually, it is getting a, it is actually getting some stuff, but it's not getting everything. So what if I do this? I want to see. Actually, what I could do is I could just say, I could actually just like change the, like create a GUID. Yeah, I could just create a GUID instead. So I'll just say export path. And then what I'll do is I'll say, I'll actually take this and I'll actually say, well, actually, yeah, we'll do this instead. I will go ahead and just make it a string. And I'll just say path. This will prevent like any errors like for duplicated like pathing. I'll just say plus equals, and I'll just say GUID dot generate. And basically, actually, let's do this. I need to do this real quick. We're gonna say, the reason why I'm doing this is just so like I don't have to like keep like deleting the old one while testing. I'm gonna just say export path, then just add a dash, and then after that we say prefab. Actually, wait, I think we still want to say no, yeah, prefab works. Prefab works. I think. Yeah, we'll do this. And this way, like, I'll just make sure, like, the asset path is always this. Make sure, generate mesh. Okay, just making sure, like, I'm not missing that anywhere. That should solve a lot of problems right there. So the last thing I need to do is figure out why Unity is only exporting, so it's exporting like, okay, so to just showcase this in Blender, like what it's doing, so like it is creating a actual like Blender file and stuff like that. But if you notice that instead of a 3D model, it's creating a a transform armature. And I think I know why it's doing that. So what I might do is I might actually see, like, okay, if I well, I'm going to actually try this. I'm going to say generated prefab dot add component. I want to see if I add a mesh filter. I'm going to say, let's just say generated mesh filter real quick. Oh, mesh filter. I want to see if Unity will actually like be able to convert like a mesh filter and actually grab its vertex data there. So what I'll do is I'll say that, and I'll say generated filter equal dot mesh, and then we'll actually say we'll grab the generated mesh and actually set that there. And what I'll do is I'm actually not going to add the game object. I want to like just test this out, and I want to see if Unity will actually grab the export mesh filter on the created prefab for Blender to actually grab the data that way. Oh, I need to actually say I need to actually say I just realized oh, instead of, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, wait, did it add? Oh, it just literally just straight up did not care that I said, hey, okay, so I might have to do this instead. Assets generate object. Because it did not add the uGUID to the string. Debug.log. But GUIDs I can actually just instantly returns like the actual like value. Okay, let me make sure like the GUIDs actually instantly return the value. That might be why. Because if you notice inside the like the actual like editor, sorry, we have this. Okay, let's try this out. It works the second time, just not the first time. All right, come on, Unity. Okay, so it did at least add a mesh filter. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it worked! It actually grabbed the mesh data that time. Okay, so yeah, that's what we needed. So if you notice, no mesh data, hell yeah, that actually works. Okay, let's bring it. Let's see. Can I bring it into Blender? Which one's the? Let's actually wait. Oh, I just realized I deleted both of the. Oh no, no. There's got to be a way to like assert out of that parallel job. Like there's got to be a way. I should, okay. Next time, I'm gonna try to find a way to assert out of the job to even avoid the thing. Yeah. Let's see. Also, if anybody's wondering like how this is causing issue, like why it's like crashing, basically what happens is like the job handles get stuck, and so when I delete the game object, like I said, Unity already knows about this issue. It's the LLVM, which is a like what converts like C# to like H like high performance C# and stuff like that. for some reason it forgets to erase the binding of certain job handles, and what happens is the first time I run it, when it actually works, it thinks, oh, the integer array is how many jobs it's doing. So if I'm creating one mesh, it sets to 1. After I delete the game object from the project, Unity doesn't clear the job handle properly, and now there's 0 mesh jobs trying to like properly run, but it still sets the array length to 1. So it tries to run it on nothing, and yeah, that's basically the crux of the issue. But that's okay, because it like if we ignore that fact, if we ignore that fact, Unity, I was going to say good things about you. Actually, let's see if I enter an exit play mode. Let's actually generate mesh. I want to see if sad, very sad, Unity. Actually, wait. If I this is gonna be funny. If I tell it to refresh. No. Oh, come on. You guys saw it. It was working. It was just okay. Wow. Okay. So it literally worked, and then Yunti's just like, nah, fam, we don't want you to be happy. I'm like, can we not? Okay, well, that's okay. I know the theory actually is possible. I just gotta get around Yunti's shenanigans. Okay, yeah, because now it's not even like, it's not setting the mesh now. Okay, well, that's okay. So basically, yeah, the generated mesh is just not, yeah, mesh filter, generate. And then, yeah, generate mesh, of course. All right, I might change how this is done, because yeah, well, the thing is, like, the reason why I was trying to like update it is because the mesh actually didn't. Okay, let me have wait a second. I want to see something real quick. Let's go to burst inspector. I want to see I know we're going into assembly. It's scary land. Get worker range. Okay, yeah. So literally, okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's where it's happening at. Get work. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually trying to steal the pointer. So whenever the game object gets updated, Unity does like a refresh asset database. Okay. Okay. So basically, what we could do. I wonder if, okay, so what if I like, yeah, no. So what I need to do is some way find a way to actually stop this thing whenever you actually delete file. You know, not since I think about it. No, complete is being called. Let's make sure like is complete called. Yeah, it is. Okay, complete is called. Apply in disposable. Oh. Okay, I see. Maybe. Okay, look, we're gonna. Okay, I'm gonna purposely crash this one more time, guys. Yeah, I know I'm purposely actually crashing it this time. I want to see like which part like is like the job handle getting stuck at, because if I get to like. What I can literally do is like figure out like which part the job handle is getting stopped at, and I can just say like I can actually just, how should I say this? I can actually just like set the job handle to oh no, I'm already setting the job handle default. Ooh. Okay, well anyways, I want to see like where this is actually like crashing. Because like I'm gonna be honest, guys, during the stream, this like most of my time is just reopening Unity. Also, we're gonna see why it was working before the crash and then it stopped working after the crash. Red pool. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so why is there okay, Unity. Why is the socket the one having issues? Yeah, don't. It's better not to question Unity's insanity. Welcome to the land of suffering. I mean, whenever you're doing weird stuff like this, I'm surprised I don't get crashes more often. All right, so we got that. I'm going to go here. We're gonna say we're actually gonna go, and I'm gonna see where all we could be running into these issues. I'm going to go to our procedural mesh. Make sure, yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to enter play mode. Yep. Okay. Okay, so Unity is indeed like a yeah, go for this. Wait. Let's see. Okay, so exit play mode real quick. It runs on exiting play mode. Wait a second, that could be a problem. Why is it running on? Why is it running on exiting play mode? Oh, is this related to that damn stupid inspector? Okay, I swear to God, yeah. Are you kidding me, Unity? What in the shenanigan hell is this? Oh, you know, actually, that makes sense. Okay, so what's okay. I am actually doing this on purpose just for reference. Okay, so I think I see the stupidity of the situation. Okay, now it's actually working for the bug. So, okay, so there is a mesh. There is a mesh. So it is actually getting, there is actually a mesh. We know that. All right, so let's actually go out here. Yeah, so this. All right, so mesh bounds, check. Generator bounds, okay, that is schedule generator. Mem comp, yeah, expected that. And then okay. Now I gotta do the fun times of like figuring out like, okay, so is that actually where our issue is? Okay, so what it looks like is happening is like oh, that's retarded. Okay. I want to see this. I just realized I might be the retard here. I might be the stupid one here. Oh, Unity, you crazy thing. Just compiling code that causes the socket to die. I'm so looking forward to next week. Welcome to the technical side of Unity. Okay, so... yeah, okay, so I'm gonna try this shit again. We're gonna find out. Okay, we're gonna see if, I'm so scared to actually, like, delete these two. Okay, what am I actually gonna do? Um, we're actually gonna, like, okay, yes, no. Oh, yeah, because we're gonna, this should be the last time I have to click this stupid button. Hopefully, oh god, hopefully. I think most of my frustration is just for, like, the fact that Unity is like throwing exceptions in like the weirdest places with IDE open. Oh yeah, blah blah. Get this, blah blah. There's yeah, that happens. But if I actually create, okay, so let's see this. Mesh is not null. Big component. All right, so we're gonna say mesh data. Okay, so mesh data should be okay, yeah, there we go. One. Mesh data is the procedural it is so it should be called, yeah, okay, so it's literally just on actually like setting this. Oh, 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 oh yeah, I actually have the folder onto the side next time it crashes. Oh, oh, okay, I see why only that one specific button is broken. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to remove some of the stuff in here and actually move it down here. So instead of doing this down here, I actually need to, yeah, wow, okay. So what I need to do is, okay, I see. It's this right here. So can I just say, let's actually do this. Mesh filter, filter. I'm gonna just say like equals null. So what I can do is this. I could say if filter equals null. So if I don't pass in a custom filter, okay, yeah, so yeah, because I'm always assuming that the filter I'm using, oh, okay, yay. Okay, so at first when I did this, the script was, I mean, it was on a component, a game object inside the inspector. What I need to do, I need to actually, instead of create a new game object, I need to copy this one without the procedural mesh script. You know what, actually, well, we could do this a couple ways. Okay, so basically, I need to actually find a way. So this is always assuming the mesh filter is actually on the actual like object we're currently inspecting, which is obviously a huge problem. So obviously we want to do this first, but what we also want to do is down here, we need to say I actually need to set this. I need to say the actual like mesh filter. Actually, yeah, we actually need to do like something like this where we're actually setting to the actual like mesh filter. Yeah, okay, so yeah, because we're actually doing this from editor. Okay, yeah. So yeah, okay, so instead of doing this, this will be our original if like we're not doing like if we're generating a mesh for object in scene, we use this. If we're not generating object in scene, we actually need to fall back to this. So if we actually do on create menu asset, okay, yeah. So since we're actually doing an on create menu asset thing, we don't care about the actual like we're escaping like the idea of like okay, we're whatever expector we're doing. So what I need to do is actually remove like some of this procedural mesh logic and put it into a static class. That way it doesn't care. So yeah, no. So even if I set the object, I'm setting the object in scene, not the generated object. That's what the issue was. I was actually working on the object in scene. I was actually working on the procedural mesh filter when I should have been working on like whatever mesh filter was currently being generated. And then how are you doing? Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, so what I need to do is generate mesh filter. What I need to do in here is we're gonna say we actually want to kind of assign this. So if we say generate mesh filter, so depending on where we're calling generate mesh filter from, we need to actually have it do this. So we could say mesh filter equals to do procedural mesh dot get component mesh filter. So if we say on mesh type change, that'll actually change the in scene mesh, which we need to actually do, which would be the component on procedural mesh. And if we're actually doing it from like on mesh generated, we need to do the same thing here as well. But for the only instance, if we're exporting the asset, if we are exporting the asset, that's the key word, we need to actually say, we actually need to do this down here, where we actually need to say generate mesh after we actually create a newly generated mesh filter. That's not on the actual like object in scene, but actually in the prefab we're creating for the project folder. So what we actually need to do here is instead of generating the generating this mesh like right away, what we need to say is if the asset data or asset path is this, which it shouldn't now, like actually I can probably delete this now. And now since actually I know I can delete this, I can actually delete this if statement now. Since I'm generating like a general like GUIDs for the naming. And what I can say is mesh filter, like the actual mesh filter we're like now working on, will be that. So mesh filter dot mesh equal or like actually equals generated mesh. Yeah, so we get to generate a mesh. And the thing is like the generated mesh will actually need to be created down here. Ooh, okay, so we need to actually have like the yeah, so we set the mesh filter first. And then before we actually set the actually I can actually not I don't even have to worry about that. I could say yeah, instead of doing that there, I could just say generate mesh after I set the mesh filter to the procedurally generated prefab that we're adding to our project folder. That way like I shouldn't run into issues here. And by the time it runs into here, then I'll actually apply that generated mesh to the generated objects filter. And this is why this was not creating a mesh here. It's because it was applying it to the actual game object and scene. I hate that. All right. All right. Well, anyways, as I was trying to say, oh no. Okay. Oh, it's like I need to find a way to make it where like so what's happening is like anytime like the register event callback, like here is it, it should be in text panel. This is being called this anytime the actual like anytime the actual like inspector is shown, and that's why everything keeps running. I wish there was a way to tell Unity be like, okay, hey, do not do the register callback. Like the second the inspector appears, because that's why that keeps coming up here. But okay, well, anyways, as I was saying, yeah, so what we do here is like whenever we're actually generating the actual filter, what we'll do is we'll actually pass in whatever filter we are actually using. So we'll actually pass in this now. And this way it'll correctly choose whether it's the prefab that we're generating that's going to be that will have like the mesh filter on it, aka like exporting a mesh filter, or if we're editing an object that's in the scene, it'll actually use the correct one. Hopefully, that's the theory. We're going to find out. I have no idea. Like, guys, I'm going to be honest, this is new territory for me. It is so hot, Nymph, like it is so hot and humid right now. I might have to open my door, just warning. And the reason why I say warning, I have a very, very energetic puppy. Oh my god, I hate that. I am assuming that is being called on the, serialized, yeah, okay, it is being called on that stupid thing. Yeah, on mesh type generated. I mean, I get why Unity does that, like why they just default. Okay, so we're gonna see. Does this work now? Oh, I missed a single freaking spot. Okay, lock this so it doesn't change. So if this works. Alright, so yeah, it actually generated a mesh inside of like the scene. But now I gotta figure out which one is actually the mesh that was generated. Do 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 do. Sadness. Okay, so I think we got the right idea down. Like we're starting. Like I'm starting to get like the actual like idea. Oh. Okay, well. Now Unity's just saying, hey, always do that. Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, come on. Let's actually see. Yeah, pass in the mesh filter. Yeah, I might. Okay, just for now, just so for my own sanity's sake, just for my own sanity's sake. Dear God, I'm removing that value change callback. Later, when it's actually like everything's implemented and stuff like that, won't be a headache. But currently, that's pain in the butt. Yeah. I mean, at least we got like where we can create a mesh in scene. Like we got like multiple scene mesh generation tools, but like the actual like prefab editor, like the actual like editor is where we're having so many issues with. All right. Also, yep. Yay. Okay, so what we're gonna try to do is I'm gonna step through this now. And we're actually gonna see like where this is messing up. Okay, so it's creating a string. We got ourselves a new path. Yeah, strings.asset generated. So it is actually creating game object. We have a game object. We're adding a component to it. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna say, okay, so Yeah, generated object mesh filters, that's correct. That is correct. Oh! Well, actually, no. That should be okay. That should be okay because that should be a reference. So, like, whenever, like, the actual, like, mesh gets created here, it should update that. I hope. Oh, okay. So since I changed that logic earlier where I can, okay, so we're going to step in here. Filters not equal null, so that's actually passing it in. Okay, so if I actually go to this mesh filter, if I actually go into the mesh, can I find the tangents, triangles? No. Explore. I'm gonna actually have like a list of vertices. So generate object. Okay, so oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So I need to oh yeah, because we no longer are adding it as a subchild to the object. Oh, okay, so that's a thing. So I'm gonna say mesh filter, or actually let's say generate mesh filter equals new mesh. So we can actually and this will only be used like if the actual like I don't really need since I'm actually like passing in like the mesh filter here, I don't really need mesh equals oh oh yeah, so like I need to, instead of passing in do 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 so I need to do it this couple different ways. I need to actually say mesh mesh yeah, okay, so mesh equals like if I don't pass any mesh, use the mesh on the actual procedural mesh, and yeah, we'll just say like a mesh equals like the generate mesh. Okay, there's like a reason for them doing for this weirdness, because then after that, I can just say that mesh equals like whatever mesh we're actually going to use for the operate like the thing, and I can say I can actually go here and I can say this. I can say grab this mesh and actually use it. This way, if I pass in a mess, it'll be for like exporting, and if I don't pass in a mess, it'll actually be for like actual like in scene. And then I think, I think, if I actually go into here, if I ever say generate mesh, what I could do instead of doing like all this kind of stuff, I could go ahead and I can actually do this instead. I'm going to say, yeah, so if I actually set that here, yeah, okay, so this is a little messy. Okay, so basically, the filter equals null. I'm going to say, like the actual, like, well, we actually aren't having to do anything with the filter. Okay, so what we need to actually do is have probably this just also return the mesh. Yeah, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just have this return the generated mesh. And the reason why is return mesh. That way I can just do a couple things with this. So instead of having to like also like set do this, okay, we're gonna, yeah, this is what we're gonna have to do. Before we generate the mesh, what we could do is for procedural like exporting, we could just say mesh filter equals this. As long as we actually like set the mesh filter, instead of doing that here, generate a mesh, I could actually just go down here, and whenever we create the actual like mesh, I can actually say like yeah, we'll actually do this not equal null. I'm going to say mesh filter. Yeah, we're going to actually do. You know what? I am actually going to have this here. I'm going to say generate mesh equals this. Now I'm going to just say mesh filter equal or like dot mesh equals like the generate mesh. Sorry, mesh equals generate mesh. This way, I can actually just pass in this mesh filter, and I can just pass in the generated mesh as well. And what I can do is, whenever it's passed in, I can actually just say equals. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. And maybe after like if when passing them both in, it should actually yeah, we should be able to actually generate the mesh. By this point, like this mesh filter should already have it set, and then like since we added this mesh filter to the generated prefab, okay, yeah, that seems a lot more logical. Oh, I'm gonna be honest, like heat and everything is not making this easy, I think. All right, let's see how stupid this is. Does my idea work? At this point, I don't even like. No. No. Betrayal. I actually thought that would. Okay, it created a mesh. Okay, it did create a mesh. It did create the mesh. The mesh was just not added to the bloody the actual like prefab. It's like, okay, so it even added the mesh filter. So it's adding the mesh filters. It is adding the mesh filters. And it's adding hell. What? Oh, so after your I bet, okay, I hate this. I bet once you actually exported the prefab, it loses the context of like this. Okay, I wonder if this is actually like losing the context. Well, actually no, since we're actually creating this first, generated prefab dot is it losing the context after or like yeah, okay, does this, we're gonna say exported prefab. I want to see, is it actually just losing context after the prefab utility like exports it? I mean, if that's the issue, that's not a hard thing to fix. Is that all it is? That's all it's been this entire time? Alright, so it does have the context for that. So this is actually getting the context for that. But let's say mesh. So I'm gonna we're gonna see if it actually returns null on one of them, but the other one is not null. If that is the case, thank God that is not a hard fix. Also, I love how I just have like infinite at the amount of like. That is it. That is 100% it. That is actually okay. So it loses the context after mesh because we actually had to say we had to tell it to be a shared mesh. Okay, so instead of saying export, we need to say we actually got to get the, oh my God, oh, really? That's literally all it was. Damn. Wonder how long that's been actual thing. That could have actually affected a couple of the other things. Key component. So we actually have to do mesh filter. Or I should say exported filter. Exported filter. And basically what we got to do is say exported filter dot shared mesh equals generated mesh, because even though we're like setting the mesh here and everything, the generated prefab actually yeah, the actual generated prefab is wow, that's a I this might actually be what it was. Oh, so let's try this one. I like how I wasn't getting an error into like until I like tried to do the debug log. So that error might have been happening this entire time. It just never logged it. Okay. Oh my God, that's it. It works. Holy crap. Yay, pain. The pain and suffering is over. It's done. Okay, so instancing mesh during edit mode. This will leak meshes, which is part of the burst compile or like the crash I was having earlier. Okay, so what we need to do, okay, so we need to switch from all of these like while inside of like edit mode. What we need to do is we need to okay, so here we say shared mesh. So we actually say shared mesh instead of like normal mesh while inside the inspector. And then here, if we say if we're inside the inspector, so like yeah, okay, so if we're not passing in a filter, so if we're actually getting the filter inside the scene, actually, we should actually get the, like, just use shared mesh in both places now, since I think about it. That actually could be all this was. I love how it didn't start actually like debugging logs out because until I, or like, sorry, it didn't start actually saying errors until I like actually typed in debug.log. But that's been like all the issues is, oh yeah, because it even added, yay, look at that. It even worked. Hey, the material worked. Okay, before I forget, let's open this crafter up and, or like crap up and like inside like crap up. Ah, dang, I can't freaking say crap up. Whatever, you guys understand. It is there, it works. Oh, we actually can make a mesh inside Unity and actually go into Blender. Dear God, so that's all it was. I don't know why Unity was not logging that error out earlier until I started like manually like doing a debug.log, but that's literally all it was. Wow. Okay, so note to self, shared mesh, not mesh. And you know what? I even ran into that problem in the past and I completely forgot about it. That's actually something I ran into when I was working on the ocean generator and I completely forgot about it. The thing is, like, for the ocean generator thing, I wasn't exporting actual like game like FBX files. I was just exporting, like, I actually had a scriptable object that the data was just saved to for compute shaders. So I didn't have to deal with like the prefab utility, the asset database stuff or anything like that. I was just grabbing like vertexes and sharing inside of, like a data scriptable object. So I didn't have to run into any of these problems. Okay. That's stupid. Just saying, I'm gonna actually close out Unity real quick. And so we're gonna just do this. I'm gonna just actually like go here. I am going to delete all those extra meshes. I do mean every single one of those stupid meshes. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't realize how many of these stupid meshes it was actually like it's just like randomly ramming through. That's a lot. Okay, there was over like 30 game objects. Oh, no, that is not what I wanted to do. There we go. And we are free. There was almost 1,100. Wow. Okay. I'm glad I actually managed to understand the material part too, because I was worried it wouldn't embed the texture or the wait, actually, now since I think about it, it embedded the wrong material. Wait a second. It did actually do what I think it did. Yeah, it didn't generate the okay, so that might be one thing. But the fact is I was actually able to generate a mesh and pull into Blender. That is a huge, huge start. 2.5 hours of trying to go through crashes and so forth. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now let's make it where it's not as weird looking, or it's not as basic. Let's do actual like other stuff. Let's do some actual random procedural generation. Do 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 do. Okay, so let's actually start like finding stuff and figuring out how to do things. So we created a grid, we created a mesh. Now we need to actually like work on actually creating like a modifiable mesh and actually create like a ripple effect. Actually, you know what? Let's actually test it out. What I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna actually update to shared grid and going to do this. I want to see for anybody wondering like, okay, why have I been wasting my time on this? Well, let's find out. Do I have my nope ripple? Let me actually like open this up, make sure like this might be my own. It happens. Oh yeah. Just making sure. I want to see this real quick. I don't even have any of these graphics. Okay, well, let's test this out real quick. For anybody wondering, like, what is like one of the useful things of this? Let's show this off. Let's actually go to always refresh. Let's say ripple. Let's just shove in a random normal map. Sure, whatever. Fine, both. I don't remember if like actually no, Unity should actually do this inside of edit mode. Default values. Let's do 0.5. Yeah, there we go. So then we do 0.3. Oh. And oh look, we're starting to get like a random like actual like stuff we can start doing with our objects. Now, why is this like so important? Let's actually do this. So, I mean, it looks weird, right? It's only like a small thing, but notice how we're actually like starting to get like a small like wave effect. So what we can do now is I can actually like add like vertex shaders and stuff onto generated like grids and everything. But I can also like export them, and I can actually export the ripple effects into Blender, so I can actually export Unity shaders into Blender shader graph, like their Blender geometry nodes. And I can actually like start doing stuff like that. I mean, this is a basic example. Like this is a very basic example, like very basic example. I can also do like a few other things. So, do note, the goal is to start off like small. Also, if you notice, this is actually a good time to actually show off like why you would want to make something like this. So, if you notice, we really have like the resolution's kind of like not really useful. So, I mentioned before that you might want to like actually like increase like the resolution to actually like change different effects. Well, here is where that actually comes to play. If we actually go here and I actually go to our yeah, this is actually not the ripple shader I was wanting to show off. Let's actually do this. Let's do 0.001, and let's actually do 1. There we go. Notice how like once I start adding like a lot more like resolution stuff, it starts to actually look a little bit neater. Like it actually starts to look like a little wave effect. And if I do like maybe 2.5, it starts to seem like actual like a wave that you might see. Nice, huh? Well, what if we want to take this a step farther? We can actually start doing that now. So let's actually start doing that. We need to actually start creating a few different things. Let's actually rewrite this out. Okay, so originally when I was first testing this out, I had this inside of a shader graph. I really don't like shader graphs, I'm going to be honest. For multitudes region, actually might save like the second stream like for shader stuff specifically. I was just wanting to show like we actually can start like actually getting into like more useful stuff here. So now since we got that, let's actually start getting more useful things to it. So I'm gonna have a way to make it where I can actually dynamically apply stuff to this. So what I want to do is I want to make it where I can choose to set like different values, but I don't need to set them for every single thing, like every single mesh I'm generating. So maybe I want to pass in a texture one time and a material or a custom shader or something like that, but I don't want to pass it in every single time. I was thinking about having it where I have like a mesh property list. So we would have like a public class, and I would say do not specifically class for certain serialization things, and also certain serialized reference specifically. I was thinking you have a mesh property, literally just a mesh property base, and then you would have like you could have like different things like a mesh property or a mesh texture property, and basically like each mesh texture each mesh property could be like have a function like a public abstract, let's say update mesh, or like update mesh. We'll do like something like that. Actually, yeah, we could say like oh right, I forgot. Why? Oh no, not that part. That part. But I could have in here where it's like, okay, we got like override the and override now. So now I can actually like override this, override the update mesh thing. And basically my thought process was this, where here I could have like a public texture, for instance, and then like have it where it's like I'll just say like a applied texture, or like texture, and maybe have it where there's a public mesh filter, or yeah, we'll say mesh filter. We'll add like or editing mesh filter, and I'll also say like mesh itself. Granted, I could just grab the mesh from the editing mesh filter. That might actually be what I'd do. But what I might be able to do here is like, for example, okay, we got our like mesh filter and stuff, right? So what I could do is I could have it where like the editing mesh filter, I could actually get like different, like the actual like mesh render and stuff on it, or apply like certain values. So wait, I wonder, in the mesh thing, can I grab, there's certain thing that I want to see, do. Oh yeah, I can even grab the UVs. Let's do, oh yeah, I can. I could actually do it. Okay. That might actually be a way to do certain things. I might want the mesh render instead on this. Now since I think about it. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, 1 second. I mean, I'm going to keep those there just for a second, but oh, screw it. I'm going to just say mesh renderer. Yeah, we could actually do something like this where I get like the material and actually shared material. I remember the proper one, and I could like set like the main texture or something to like a texture like this. And why this would be useful is if I were to serialize this now, serialize, well, if I actually like serialize this, go down here and add this, what I could do is after the mesh property, like after send these inside the procedural mesh thing, I could say, I'm actually going to set this as a private list, or sorry, serialized reference. And I'm going to say private list. I could say mesh property bases. And I could say mesh properties equals new. And what this will let me do is now I can actually like do like, okay, I could do like a texture one. I could say mesh shader property and stuff like that. And it looks weird, and I know it looks weird, but I could say, you know, depending on what you're doing, you might have to do more than just like set that. But here I can actually have it where I just add, my voice is going from, dry from the heat. I can actually just have like a different, like a drop down box actually appear, and I can actually, per procedural mesh, choose like what properties to set. And an example of that is like I was testing out the idea for like abilities. So like if I actually go here inside my ability property, I have a thing that yes, Unity, gotta click off of it and then click back on it, and then it magically works. I have a thing over here that actually allows me to choose like what properties this ability has. So like, for example, I could make it where this property applies slow, or has like a 10% chance to apply slow, and I can even choose like how long it applies the slow, what percent of movement speed, or I could say, okay, this stat effect actually will do burn damage. I could choose how much damage per second and stuff like that. So I could basically like add properties, but instead of like status effect properties, I could do it on a procedural mesh. And you'll notice that when I first click this, oh yeah, there's just like nothing there. So what I could do is I could actually have it where if I actually go here, I could just to show this off for like examples, I'm going to say mesh properties dot add. I'm going to say new texture property, like a mesh texture property. And I'm going to do the same thing, but instead I'm going to say like shader property. You would actually make like a custom like drop down menu, which I have a class to do that with. And then what I could do is inside my procedural mesh generator, after the mesh has actually been done or finished, I could say, I could just say like apply mesh properties. Actually, what I should do here is actually, you know, instead of actually like setting it, yeah, instead of setting them here, what I should do is I should actually set the actual like properties like somewhere in here. So I'll just say like I'll just say something like this. I'll say like for each actual like property or like mesh property, I could say like literally mesh property dot update mesh. And basically what I could do is I could have it where like for each mesh property, let's say public, let's say abstract void initialize actually initialize, yeah, and I could have it where the actual property has like a mesh filter option, a renderer, let's say mesh renderer option, and stuff like this, and editing or like a mesh itself. And what I can do, I can actually just go in here. Actually, this might actually be better. It's just like an actual virtual class. And the reason why I'm going to say like editing mesh filter equals filter. I could do renderer equals, mesh renderer equals rendered. And I could say like editing mesh equals mesh. And I don't even need to like override these. What I could do now is now whenever I like the update mesh stuff is actually called, as long as I actually have initialized all this, it will actually like set these values, so I can actually generate procedural meshes and spit out like materials, shaders, and stuff that can actually be exported to Blender, Maya, stuff like that. Have you used a new version of Odin Inspector? I don't like Odin. Okay, so I understand people using Odin Inspector. I do. My problem with Odin Inspector is a lot of reflection, like behind the scene reflection stuff. They move some of it to type catch, so it's a little bit better, but it adds a lot of bloat. I mean, I don't know if people realize like just how much bloat like Odin Inspector adds per element you're editing. It adds a lot. I mean, if you don't know how to do editor tooling, I get it. I like using it. It's a good tool. But here's the thing. If you're releasing tools like toolkits like I am, you legally cannot use Odin Inspector in your like the tools you are selling. So you have to have like whoever is using your tools would also have to have a license to Odin Inspector, as far as I understand. So if you make a tool with Odin Inspector, you can't do like only you would be able to use it. Yeah, since I've been like making tools and just like having them on a GitHub, if I were to like try to do that with Odin Inspector, I'd get in trouble. I doubt they would want me to embed like Odin Inspector like a DLL inside of a GitHub repo that's public and free. That's like a little bit of a legal mesh there. So yeah, that's why I'm not using Odin Inspector. Like I said, if it is bloated and if you're just using it like for your own like actual like projects and you're not sharing any tools or any like anything publicly, it's good. But I'm gonna be honest, even if I wasn't doing tooling and stuff, I probably wouldn't use it. It really is bloated. Like compilation time, like it adds compilation time, build times, and a few other things. It just when you use Odin Inspector for a big project, you notice the change in time it takes to actually like compile and change like one line on a script. It's bad. Also, sorry, what was I doing? Oh yeah, initialize. I'm gonna say mesh. Let's do yeah, I guess for now I should say mesh filter. Mesh renderer. Yeah, I'm actually going to I just want to like demonstrate or like demonstrate like a example of this. We're gonna do mesh filter equals get component. Mesh filter. I'm gonna say mesh render equals mesh renderer. And I'm also gonna say just mesh. And we're gonna say equals if so this should almost never be null, and the reason why I say that is because like I'm adding require component, but like if somehow it gets deleted at runtime, then I can run into like errors. So I'm gonna just go ahead and add that part just in case. Mesh. Okay, so basically now all of them are initialized, blah blah. I can actually show this off now, so errors. Okay, cool. So when I actually click play here, oh yeah, need to do, yep, so here we go. Do you know, like, I actually need to do one thing real quick. Oh, sorry, wrong script. I need to say, Odin Inspector. We don't need to see those in the inspector. We need them serialized, but we don't need to see them. So also for the shader part, I was right. You can actually need to actually I'm trying to remember like what is the best way to actually Unity material putting a shader for, I think you actually just used well, actually no, they removed the shader keyword API. I was about to say they actually removed the API. I was thinking about using it now. I was like, okay, that's actually actually at this point, like the we shouldn't care. Like we can actually work on the normal material, not the shared material. I just realized that's because this is actually like well, maybe my idea. We'll find out. Okay, yep, that works. And ta-da! Hey, now since I didn't set a shader or anything, yeah. So, all right, cool. Now we got to make it where, like, we got to make an editor so we can actually see that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go and actually change a couple things here, or add a couple things. So if I actually go to my actual like ability system, going to go here, and I'm going to actually grab this ability asset drop down menu. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm literally just going to copy a couple of these scripts down into here. It shares most of the logic. I need to make a base class that actually just works for all of them, but for now that's okay. So what I could do is I'm going to add a new script real quick, and it's basically going to be a mesh properties drop down menu. Now if I actually go in here and I can actually oh, actually I could do this another way as well. Actually, since this is, I already have like an inspector for or editor for the inspector, I might be able to do this a little bit simpler. I love how I clicked that. I mean, that's not what I was wanting to exit out of. No, whatever. Actually, might not need that now since I think about it. I just thought about this. I could actually just do this in here. Yeah, what I could do is I could actually say, yeah, I could actually just do this in here. Okay, so what we might need is we actually need a couple things. We need a list of types to actually keep the possible like property fields for the mesh data. So I could say private list mesh property base. Now I say actually, sorry, not property base type. We'll do this as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to say mesh property types. Make sure that's new. And then we also need a contextual manipulator. And we're going to say mesh property drop down, because these are actually like literally like the drop down stuff. All right, see, I haven't used Odin Inspector a while, so I actually did not know about that. I'm gonna be honest though, like I prefer knowing like how everything is working, because I don't. I'm gonna be honest. It took them a long time to update to visual elements. Like they use like for Odin, like it took them a long time to support like visual elements, years even. If I'm in Core CLR, which I'm literally moving to Core CLR in like a week for testing, I don't want to have to rely on third-party assets, like, and waiting for them to like add support, stuff like that. It kind of really sucks when you have to like do that. So it's honestly not that hard to create your own version of like Odin Inspector, stuff like that. I literally have like a daisy chain system for like my own. I'm gonna say like element here. I can say equals new. I think I have like the FF package in here, and I'm gonna say add child. Yeah, so I can literally say like a new SF row. All right, so now we got a new row on this element. What I can literally say now is on this row, I can also say add a couple new childs. So on the row I'm creating that's going to be a child of this element, I can literally just say new button. And I could say first button. And that row, what's right? Text equals first button. And then I could literally go and do the same thing. Like if I want to add multiple things for this row, I could actually just go here. I say add child again. I'm gonna have to like change like how this is like actually like formatted. Oh, whoops. I know why. No, it actually did format it correctly. I just put it in the wrong parentheses. And to say like yeah, add child here. So I could literally do like this where I just add stuff. So like I understand like people like Odin Inspector, but I prefer not to like have to rely on like a lot of third-party stuff. Okay, JetBrains Writer, choose your formatting. Choose your formatting, buddy. Oh my god. Okay. Add child, yeah. So add child, and basically T returns to parent after parent is returned. Oh my god, you know what? Anyways, you get the idea. But basically, like this would actually create like a row with two buttons, and no, like I could say add child for anything. Notice that the add child is actually attached to this thing, like it's actually this. So add child also returns their parent. So I can literally just say add child again. So this add child is still working on this row. And if I want to add like another row, like another like child row and stuff like that, I can literally just do it again where I could say like add child. I could just say a new row, row as well. So now we have like a row under, like a row in like under this row, and I could just like add like stuff to the inner row. Yeah, but like, and the thing is like I can actually tell it to attach to a tribute, so I could actually have it like add a tribute onto like an inspector or something. Actually, now since I think about it, I could actually just done it all of like all that up here. I couldn't remember if I actually pulled in my UI package, because I actually have, wait a second, have fun with this. Register. Ah, okay. I can do this. Because if I'm thinking correctly, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So fun fact, this is gonna be a fun one. Oh, this is gonna be a weird one. So like I can I just wanna like show this weirdness off. So all right, new visual. Yeah, so that won't actually create or return the newly created thing, but from here I can actually do like you know, it's been a while since I've actually this is, I'm pretty sure I just made where I just, yeah, event callback, and I just say do. And if I remember, I just pass in like oh, I can just say like event callback, yeah. Right? Or oh, so I'm actually just okay. We could actually just say like event callback with like on attached panel. Oh, I think I was in the middle of like actually setting up the register thing. Okay, ignore that. I was in the middle of like actually doing that. I didn't finish it. Anyways, distraction, sorry. So let's we got our actual like property drop down now, right? So let's go down here. And what we need to do is actually grab the actual like drop down. And how we actually do that, we might actually want to go ahead and just say actual like list view as well. That's something to think about it. Because Unity will actually like have like a mesh properties, list view. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this. So what we need to do, and we got to do this from here on out, we got to do this in attach on panel. I actually have to say list view, and then I say Unity. Now, fun fact, this actually has to be a specific name. I'm not kidding. Like this is actually Unity set name. So whenever you're trying to get a list view for like a serialized reference, to get the actual thing, you do Unity -list -name of, and you actually return the actual oh, okay, well, I might actually need these to be public. Now since I think about it, let's actually make this public. I'm gonna actually rename this real quick. Don't, because we're not using that yet. Anyways, so actually do that. And no joke, this is actually a name Unity generates. So if you have like a list like this, like any type of list, when Unity creates that list view inside the inspector, they actually default name it Unity-list and then the name of the actual variable. So since I actually named this like list mesh properties, I actually just can say name of mesh properties here. And with that, we can actually do this where you know, you should always double check to make sure that you actually found what you're looking for. I could say if this does not equal null, I can actually say create add properties drop down. And reason why I'm doing a separate method here, it actually can get very, very like rough on like depending on what all you're having to do here. But for the most part, you can actually just say mesh properties. You can say overriding add button behavior. So this overriding add button behavior, if you actually go to, it's going to compile and say and yell at me because I'm compiling it in mid thing. But if I actually go inside like let's actually go inside the like actual thing that works. So like here, this plus button right here, the overriding the actual like overriding add button behavior allows you to actually override this plus button. That's how I'm actually creating a drop-down menu for these. So what I can do is I can actually go and I can actually say plus equals, and I could say on override add button. And yeah, it's gonna be like that. But what we're gonna do is nothing. I'm not kidding. We do nothing here. And that's actually how this works. Like, as weird as this seems, that is literally what makes that drop-down menu appear. As weird as this is. So after you actually like do that, you can actually go down here and you can say button, add button. And you can actually say the mesh properties list view dot q, and you can say button. And you again, this is a actual like built-in Unity name. This is built into Unity, like editor. The button is literally called list view underscore add button. And this name right here is actually the default name for this plus button. So by doing this, I actually tell Unity to override and don't do its normal default behavior for that button. And then what I can do is I can actually say, okay, I'm gonna now grab this button and say like, hey, when you click this button, do something, like create a drop-down menu. So now I can actually say like mesh properties, not list view. I can say type utilities. And you know, I might need to actually do like a static using statement probably, or yeah, let's actually do this. We're gonna say using type utilities. That way it doesn't accidentally try to use like the normal one. So I'm gonna say ffeditor dot utilities, and there should be a sfeditor type utilities. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Unity might accidentally think I'm trying to use their built-in type utilities and not like the ones I created. So I can now say dot get types derived, and I can actually say, well, I want to get every single type that derives from mesh properties. And that's why I have like a empty abstract class here. Is now anything that inherits from this mesh property base, Unity will add a custom like button option now. I don't have to add that in code. Unity will just be like, oh, okay, there's a class called blah 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 that inherits from mesh property, add it. So I can create a texture property for procedural generated meshes. I could do like a normal or like a property for like normals or like lighting and shadow displayment, like all that kind of stuff. And I don't have to like manually add it to the editor. Unity will automatically find it and add it to my editor now. And basically I could say this normally I don't use lambdas and closures for possible like stale memory things, but in this case it is actually okay to do it. I can just say, oh, I gotta make sure, I gotta say like what T is. Sorry, type of the oh, I forgot the comma. I was like, what the heck? That should actually work. Okay, yeah, I was like, if abstract. The reason why you got to say if abstract here is because we like you can actually like check to see if like the first thing it finds is like the actual like a base class here. We don't want the base abstract class. We don't want that because we can't actually add it to anything. So you got to make sure like it's not the base abstract class. And you can say and type of, and we say mesh property base dot is assignable from team. Now another thing is type of make sure I you know this oh sorry mesh properties types. I was like, wait a second, what? Yeah, there we go. So now I can do the mesh drop down, and I could just literally say equals the new contextual manipulator. I could say on menu on mesh menu builder. And this I'm not going to do in like a lambda or closure. I'm actually going to do that. And what this allows me to do now is I could say I can actually add what is called a activator. And I can actually say new manipulator activation filter. And I could just say button equals mouse button and modifiers. And I'm specifically telling like a Unity to not care about like any like modifiers. So let's see, Unity, actually wait, I don't need to do that because I actually have a reference to the actual like namespace for Unity. And I could just say event modifiers, none. The reason why you would do this is what you can do is you can actually have it where like you have hotkeys. So whenever you actually add or click the plus button, you can actually have it do different things. So I could choose to have it like create a template for the mesh properties. That way, if any procedural mesh I'm creating, I can just reuse that template instead. Like, so you can actually like add your own like if you're holding Alt and stuff like that. And then I just say add button dot add manipulator. Add manipulator. Do note add manipulator is a utility method I created, and then I just say mesh drop down menu. And then inside of this nice little mesh drop down menu, we have a couple of things. Inside here, we can literally just say for each. Hi, Trixie. My little puppy just came and just sat down. Mesh property type, and I can literally say you shouldn't have to check for this. You shouldn't have to for this next part, but I'm doing it just a safety precaution. Since up here that we're saying don't care about the abstract class or like which is the base class, I shouldn't have to check down here. But if for some reason somewhere in code like somehow like the mesh property types accidentally does add the base abstract class, I want to just not deal with like any errors. So for safety cautions, I'm going to just tell it to continue, and then we just take the oh yeah. Normally it automatically declares that as a CTX for context, but now I can actually get the menu and I can append a custom action. And I'm going to just say add mesh property type dot name. And after that, we're going to say action. And what I can do here is say mesh ability, or sorry, mesh ability, mesh property. I was thinking of the ability system property, and I could say Sorry, brain died for a second. Activator dot create instance, and I could just say mesh property type as mesh property base, and we just say actually, ooh, thought about this. Oh no, we should be good. Yeah, I should be able. Yeah, no, I should be good. Oh, it's gonna be like, wait a second, I might need to check one other thing, but no, I don't need to worry about it. I can actually just say procedural mesh and just say add, and then we just say mesh property type, or sorry, not property type, but mesh property. And the last thing is we tell the list view to refresh. Most of the time, refresh items specifically. Now, what does all that do? Well, now I can go to my procedural mesh. And so let's go to our procedural mesh here. Now I have this mesh properties thing, and now I got a menu. So we have add mesh shader, add mesh texture. It was called from. Oh, right. Since we're actually doing this inside of a editor, I actually got to go down here and yeah, or sorry, I just need to not say new. You can't say new inside of a constructor for scriptable objects. Fun fact, every single Unity editor, like the inspector, the package manager, all of that is actually a scriptable object. All right, so now let's pull that into Blender. So what's our first goal? Well, let's make it where we can like export like customize like a material property, something like that. So yeah, let's actually do this. So let's actually go here. I'm going to actually add one now. I'm going to say mesh texture. And basically, I'm going to say UV checker. And if you guys remember from earlier, whenever, like basically the shared material, like main text, main texture and stuff will actually be given this one. I wonder if Unity actually, wait, whenever exporting, okay, so let's actually get out of all these. I'm gonna move all the mesh property stuff like down here at the very bottom. Try to keep it somewhat organized. I want to see like whenever we export the object, I noticed that it actually created a default material. So I want to see something. So let's actually just create a mesh object. Oh yeah. If you know, there are some times when that might happen. If you're this is more this specific one's more for like runtime. Actually, I could make it work for like a. I actually will have to make it work for editor, but before we do that, I need to actually see something specific. I know this seems like a lot like boilerplate code, but there's reasons like this is to help like make it where like I'm creating a foundation where I can actually do multiple shapes, because what I'm going to be doing in a little bit is going to make it where I can actually take other meshes like this. I'm going to actually take these balcony stuff, and I'm going to make it where I copy that mesh data and I actually can set it onto other meshes. Actually, you know what? Let's actually see how well that would work. So if I actually go to this, if I actually say, this is going to be fun, I'm going to actually say mesh additive property, and I can actually say like a mesh to add. What I could actually say is if the mesh for this one, or editing mesh, does not, well, I'll just say equals null and then return. I'll have to do a couple other things here later. I could say like, mesh to add equals null. What I can do now is I can actually combine these meshes. So Unity actually has support for like mesh combining. I've actually done it before. So what we can do now is we can actually start going from like, okay, we're just working with a plane to actually like building an entire building now. I know that sounds like a really big jump, but hey, what we could do is actually do this. So there's a couple different things. What I might end up doing is actually mesh filters. Yeah, actually no, this works. Because is there like a combine? Yeah, okay, yeah, I could just do this. I was trying to think. Combine instance. Okay, yeah. Combine mesh combine instance. Do you know the combine instance is actually a built-in Unity thing. Unity actually allows you to use this to actually combine meshes together. And what I could do is I could say mesh equals new. Okay, yeah. Oh wait, I can actually just for now I can actually say combine meshes. Let's say mesh combine mesh. equals new mesh, and basically we'll actually say the combined mesh equals, and this actually needs to be array, doesn't it? Combined mesh instances, and yeah, okay, yeah. Then if I remember right, I can actually just take this combined mesh. I guess we actually do need to have this as public mesh combined. Yeah, combined mesh. We'll just do this. We'll actually say equals new mesh, because that way I don't even have to do this down here. Then I could just say combined mesh, and we'll need to actually set a way to set the instances of like the thing. Oh, you know what? I know how we can do this. Public filter. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think we can actually do this shared mesh. No, we can actually just do this. We don't need a mesh filter. I could actually just say meshes to add instead. And what I'll do, instead of saying that, we're going to say dot count as less than 1. Actually, yeah, we'll say less than 1. And the reason why I only need 1 is because we'll go ahead and we'll add the mesh combine instances dot okay, instead of array, because we won't actually be able to choose this. We're actually going to need both of these to be a list, because there might be times where we want to add like another like a stuff, or like a set of like meshes. Okay, so let's see. If I were to do this now, so I'm going to say dot add. Now I'm going to say, yeah, this actually works. Okay, so now we say if this equals null, since it's no longer array, and also actually I could just say is I'm going to say do count is yeah, we'll do that. In your if statements, I just noticed that you have my var equals null, not just like oh yeah, there's a reason why. So honestly, the better approach, no, I'm not kidding, like I'm actually planning on making a tutorial about this. Like I actually already have like part of it recorded. Technically you shouldn't be using either of these. I'm not kidding. Like you should not be using in some cases, you should avoid this, or like I hate that shortcut. You should avoid both of these. And the reason why, okay, so this is actually a overload, method overload. The equals is actually a method overload. Well, if we actually click into it, Unity, I'm not kidding, Unity overrides the equals, and it goes into one hell of a freaking performance drain. I do mean a huge performance drain. Like if anybody's ever like seen like any IDE say you should never compare like null and update, there's a reason why. And that is actually like the reason. Look at this. Okay, so whenever you say equals or non equals, you go into this method. That method goes into this method. That method goes into this net method. That method goes into this method, and then this statement, and then blah blah blah. Oh yeah, and then it goes into this one, and then it goes into C++. The equals sign in Unity, do you know this is for Unity objects specifically, can go up to call 12 methods just by saying equals. Like literally just saying equals equals can call 12 methods for unity objects. So like there's like a big O object and that's Unity's, and then there's like a little O that's C#'s object. Unity's big O objects literally override the equals equals things, and it just goes into a performance drain. So what you might want to do is is not this. Oh wait. I also need to actually I've done this. But yeah, you also just like do this, or you could say yeah, you could do stuff like this as well. But yeah, yeah, that actually goes into why I'm saying like I'm not doing like my var. So fun fact about this, that's also a method overload, but that actually does a different thing than the equals equals inside of Unity specifically. I wish I was kidding. Like if you're doing an if statement, if you do editing mesh, this is not the same as this. People treat them the same. They do not do the same. Those are not the same thing. They do two different things. So there's a reason why I'm not just saying like this. Just heads up. Yeah, there's some fun things like if I could click it. Oh, Unity won't actually like, or sorry, the JetBrains IDE won't actually go into the sign here. Whenever you just say like this, and you actually like are doing like if statement, it goes into like this thing. So if you say equals equals, it goes into they go into two different compare like base objects in different ways. But yeah, so like the bool operator, and it will actually go into two different things. They converge in the same like code path in C++, but yeah. Anyways, that's a rant for another time. But yeah, you can do this or that, and for now, this is actually okay since I'm just an editor. So what I could do here is to generate or like add the meshes together. I could literally take the meshes to add, and say dot count +1. The reason why we say +1 is because we also need to take it to the mesh we're currently editing. So we do that, and then we can do we'll just say yeah, we can just say like okay, well, there's a couple different things. Actually, you know what? I was gonna say, I'm sorry if you guys can hear my dogs, by the way. I'm gonna say equals basically a new combined mesh instance. And I'm gonna just say, okay, 1 second. I gotta go check what is going on. All right, sorry about that. My dogs are trying to catch a random raccoon, or not raccoon, a possum. It's daytime. I don't know why possums out. Okay, well, I can think of ideas why there's a possum out, but I don't want to. I don't want to go play with him. Let's just say that. Anyways, okay, combine mesh. I could just say mesh equals. Let's say. We'll say I here. Oh, actually, no. I could just say. I was trying to go like how like would be a better way. This I'm gonna actually just do meshes to add count, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just say I, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna actually say, yeah, we're gonna do this instead. There we go. And I'm pretty sure that the transform, oh yeah, because we actually got to set the transform. Can I actually get it to transform for the oh, I might actually need to use a transform filter for this. Yeah. Okay, what about matrix? Oh, okay. All right, I might actually need instead of mesh to add well, actually no, wait, I can just do this. I'm not kidding. For now, I'm gonna literally yeah, I'm gonna just say vector2 vector 3.0 for now, just for now. Oh wait, that's matrix 4x4. Okay, we're gonna just say matrix on identity. Yeah, we'll just see that. Yeah, okay, so, and then after that, we'll need to do one more mesh combine instance. So these are the meshes we want to add, but then we need to actually add one for the actual like editing mesh. Yeah, that should be good. Then we need to say to array because for some reason they only have array. Actually, I'm assuming it has to do with like some native memory stuff. Okay, so you combine the meshes. And then I could say the mesh, or the editing mesh filter, shared mesh equals the combined mesh. Possibly. We're gonna see. I'm pretty sure this works. Oh, that also means I should also check just in case for the mesh filter or the yeah, the what I made. Did I name that like just filter? I might have just named it filter, didn't I? Oh, editing mesh filter. Okay, I'm gonna just rename those after the stream. But anyways, so we get this, yeah. And I'm gonna say like equals null, and we're gonna basically have fun here. So I think that works. I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna go to our trusty little thing here. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna add a right Unity. I forgot. Lovely times. Do that again. Okay, now it works. Okay, mesh additive filter. I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna actually grab these wood things. Okay, balcony cross, balcony cross, balcony cross. And I'm gonna see if this bloody works. So the goal is will be able to actually like add stuff together, balcony simple cross, and actually like create like an entire building with like one click. That's the goal. That is the goal. And we're gonna say we're gonna see if this works. I'm quite questionable on like this act. I like how it just adds like E. Okay. No. So I think. All right, you know what? Here, we're gonna check this out for a second. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna actually enter debug mode, and I want to see like make sure everything is good. So let's actually make sure like everything is good for this. So I'm gonna say create mesh. Okay. Oh, okay. So what is? Oh, I never set the actual like mesh filter. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Like runtime that won't be a problem, but like during the actual like like if I do it from editor, it will be a problem. Okay, I see what it is. That's super simple fix. So it'll work in runtime. Actually, you know what? I say that. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. I'm gonna actually click this. Constructors filled instructors will be executed from Nani. Okay, where is Unity trying to call this new mesh? Okay. Okay. Oh, right. Wait. Actually, no. That's not right. Why is this a mesh combined instance? Why is this a null? That shouldn't be null. Hold that. Internal crate can only be called from the main thread. Oh. Oh, okay. So I just gotta move that out. Okay, what's happening is the generate mesh method. Yeah, okay, the generate mesh method looks like so like during the start, what's happening is like wait, how's that being called? Don't use this function. Oh, okay, I see. It's specifically for a type of like certain types of assets. Okay, so I could just say like okay, that's not that bad. What I can do here is I can just say combine mesh equals new mesh. Okay, I see what it is, and yeah, okay, I can just do that. That's all I gotta do. Try this again. All right, so I'm gonna actually try this in like runtime. It's pretty. Okay, well, let's actually try this. I want to see. Oh yeah, square mesh. Can I combine mesh? That does not allow. Oh, okay, it actually did work. Okay, so it did actually work. Whenever you're using the combine mesh thing, whatever meshes you're trying to compare or like work on, you need to actually give it read-write permission. So I didn't have the actual like balcony to rewrite permission on. So yeah, okay. So let's actually try this now. Inside the also let's make it where like the texture, or I'm gonna actually not do that one. Let's actually remove the texture thing real quick. Okay, so let's try this now. Oh, I didn't add like a what shader to actually use or for the specific material. Let's use the UV. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I was accidentally UV material. What? Oh, that was the actual like a generate object. I was like, what in the world? That explains it. Okay, so checker or UV checker. There we go. Do that again. All right, and let's not mess it up that time. Like I said, this stream is literally like just me like figuring out like, okay, this is what to do, this is what not to do. I am going to go ahead and actually like get rid of that though. And I'm actually gonna, I don't even know why. There we go. Try it again. Ew. Oh, the UV exporter, I bet, or the FBX exporter, whenever I'm generating like actual like yeah, whenever I'm actually like generating the mesh from runtime, so that would be in here. Okay, I should be able to just like pass in this one, right? Okay, I could just say, actually, I could just pass this in, and I could say, mesh filter dot shared. I mean, technically, I might not even need to do this anymore, like this check anymore. Probably, we'll find out. Because I'm pretty sure, like the one of the issues, no. Okay, well, at least it somewhat. So is that the texture, like the actual like FB exporter? Because I noticed like whenever like the FB exporter, no, that shouldn't be it. Something is changing my shared or like a thing. Get mesh filter, yeah. And then I can also say, oh, why am I doing that twice? Sorry, mesh filter, forgot about that already. Okay. Yeah, apparently I'm just getting too hot. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to like stop this. I'm getting so hot. Like I'm like burning up. It's almost 100 degrees in here. What is changing my material on the runtime? Like if it was from the editor, I would understand, but not the runtime. Also, I noticed that it's actually not creating like a. So I removed that, so that's no longer. Oh, wait a second. Right, I forgot to like remove those two whenever I actually added the mesh properties type dropdown. That's the whole reason why I added or like created that properties dropdown menu. Okay, now I'll try this again. Okay, yeah, I was like, what keeps killing my material? I now know. So let's actually do this now. UV material, do this again, and freaking sign that over here. Okay, there we go. Now it should stay. It shouldn't delete itself. Okay, so that's working now. So how do we not have the? It seems like the only thing that's not working now is like for, you know, I want to see this. Let's actually click play and I want to see like what it shows for that. Oh, it is working. Oh my god, they're so fucking small. It is working. What the hell's with the scale? Da-da-da-da. It's just super small. Also, I set them to like a. Oh yeah, that's a. All right. All right. I just realized that the mesh is actually or like the mesh is not generating at the like the actual 0, 0. That's why that's off. Okay. So yeah, so the pivot is down here. But okay, so if I actually move like, okay, let's actually do this 0, 0, 0. So if we actually go here, I'm gonna actually like minus everything else out, like that way we only see it. I'm gonna actually minus that out. I'm going to add a cube at 0, 0, 0. Huh. I didn't realize how small that mesh was. Why is it so tiny? Oh, you know what? Because I set a resolution, but I never set scale. Okay, well, that's another mesh property we could do. I could literally take in a scale. Yeah, there we go. So I can actually like set up a scale because at the current moment it's like literally being created at 1 by 1. So let's actually go here. I'm gonna actually say square grid. There we go. And I'm gonna actually check this thing out. Okay, so if I actually grab this now, where is it? Barnacles, I say. Okay, yeah, they're just super tiny, that's why. Oh, no, well, actually, you know what? Whenever I grab this mesh, you know, that's actually a good idea to check. What is this, Unity? What is this? Alright, guys, I'm calling it. I don't know what Unity is, Dear God, it's literally just creating, like, adding them endlessly into a list. Bravo, Unity. Yeah, I'm calling it. Okay, guys, thank you for, like, joining me on my wild, buggy adventure. Today was me trying to figure out how to actually, like, if it was possible. I know it's possible now. I mean, we got a 3D model into Blender. Let's actually try to make it an interesting model. I'm going to call it before Unity crashes again and I lose my sanity. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this crazy, messed up ride. Tech Dave, Nymph, and Al, hopefully you guys have a good weekend. If you live in America, happy 4th of July. If you don't, enjoy your weekend. Take it easy, everyone. I need air conditioning.